Welcome, Lund loyalists, YouTubers watching on John Lund Unleashed and the Bay Area Sports Collective, those watching on X and Instagram and listening on Apple and Spotify. It's John Lund Unleashed and JohnLundUnleashed.com. Brought to you by Riopel Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center. Right now featuring amazing stem cell technology. For all your pain and for the guys, check out the latest in low-T and testosterone therapy to make you feel like yourself again. Riopel Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center at riopelcosmetic.com. Now, all juiced up and ready to go. Here's Johnny.
Yes, there it is, the opening act. I knew it all along. Yeah, I've been saying all these nice things about Wilmer Flores. He knew it. He heard it. He knew what's going on. Yeah, I'm kidding. I wasn't saying nice things about Wilmer Flores. In fact, when we did Bottom the Pint with Larry Krueger yesterday, which we had on the channel, I was saying the opposite of nice things about Wilmer Flores. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I know we are late, but I had daddy duties this morning. I was taking kids to school as I just spoke with my wife, and she is in Palm Springs, which is why I have a lump of a dog laying in my studio. He'd normally not have anything to do with me, but now he's looking at me like, well, I guess nobody else is around. You're the last one. So we got the wife, we got the kids. He likes to hang out with them. But if I am the last resort, let's just put it that way. I'm the last resort for the dog. So he's laying in here. But we have a ton to go over today, and happy Friday. However, you are watching John Lund Unleashed. It could be and should be on YouTube, John Lund Unleashed. If you subscribe there, get those alerts on. Please hit those thumbs up, because the like button, because the algorithm really enjoys that and will then recommend our product to everybody, which is nice. I should start with this. It is episode 100. Like, that's kind of a big deal, episode 100. So we make it 100 episodes. Thank you for hanging out with us. We got about 5,100 subscribers over the first 100 episodes. So it's been pretty successful to this point. And as I always say, it's because of you, because you guys joined and spread the word. We have a great community here, so it's absolutely great. So John Lund Unleashed on YouTube. Please follow, please like, please subscribe, all those kind of things. Bay Area Sports Collective as well. And I think we're all going to be at opening day. So I want to say, hey to everybody at opening day. If you're going to go to Giants opening day next week. We're live as well on X, as we see the X numbers going up as we go live at John Lund Radio. You can always hit me up there. If you don't hit me up in the comments section on YouTube, you can hit me up. I'm always on X, so you can hit me up on comments, thoughts there. I just was going to say we're on Instagram, but I have not hit the extra button to go live on Instagram, so hang on a second. There we are. Now we're live on Instagram at John Lund Radio. We're there too. We're on Twitch. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. You can friend me there, or simply just join John Lund Unleashed there. So a lot of different platforms that you can get to us, and we appreciate you. Like I said, on episode 100, Wilmer! We got Wilmer with the big blast after, and this is getting lost, Patrick Bailey ties everything up, and he has a big time at bat. That was huge to see. Logan Webb wasn't great. We'll let you hear from him. I'm not overly concerned, even though Ryan Walker gave up the run in the ninth. The bullpen was money yesterday. We're going to talk a lot about that. Just opening day in general, recapping Bottom of the Pint, which was a lot of fun. Hopefully you tuned in. I saw a lot of familiar names there. It was a lot of fun yesterday, and we're going to be doing that for Fridays, but we wanted to do an opening day edition, but we're going to be doing it on Fridays. The Giant expectations. Larry and I kind of had a conversation about this yesterday, and I want to get into it with you. And opening day doesn't sway me one way or the other. That was a really cool win. It was nice to see the offense jump. It was nice to see the bullpen pick up Logan Webb, who is not great. So we'll get into that, about that whole thing, the Aiuyk thing. And it was more, I'm only bringing this up again because Krug and I had a conversation about it yesterday. He is hell-bent on believing that he's leaving. I'm as the other way in terms of him staying. And I'm not saying I'd keep him necessarily, just that from what I understand in the tea leaves, that I think he's going to stay. So we'll get into that. Matt Barrows had a piece on 6 guys that honestly I look at and I go, if they have to rely on them, but maybe they're guys that we don't talk about a whole lot. So we'll get into that too. Draft scenario. I got something to flash up on the board, but I need a little bit more time to kind of digest all this. So Saturday, tomorrow on the show, we'll talk a little bit about that. Huge stretch for the Warriors. And if they're 7, it almost looks like those are 2 question marks, but it says if they're 7, talking about the Warriors, even that could be strangely a good thing. We'll explain that. Random things happen throughout the show. If you're new around here, all you do is send me off into an ADD exploitation, and that's essentially what I do. Is I go over to the chat line and say good morning to everybody, and somebody says something, and then I'm off onto a tangent. So that's what happens real quickly. And yesterday at this very, very time, we had a mute thing going on, and I had to go back and I had to delete all the beginning of those things and edit all those things because I wasn't going to let that. It was like you're a moron. Went like 10 minutes yesterday and was on mute because I didn't check the chat line, and I told myself I would check the chat line. Then I didn't check the chat line, so it looks like my mic is on and it looks like everything is good. So good morning to everybody on the chat line. Really quickly, just because I was catching grief early because I started the show at 9. I said yesterday I was going to start the show at 9, but everyone's like, you're hungover, you drank too much. I saw you. Yesterday was great because I was drinking these beers, and I think I saw it this morning, actually. Who called it a mango something or other? It was a Corona, not that I'm going to bring it in there now, but it was like a citrus Corona. I had looked at them, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to try these for opening day. They were a little too citrusy for me. Like, I don't mind, like, it was Corona, but it was a citrus Corona. And I guess in summer it'd be okay, but it was, I still have this cooler from yesterday, and it's right behind me, and it was full of, like, I don't know, 6 Coronas, maybe 3 or 4 Stellas, something like that. And I was drinking them during the game, just kind of casually. And then by the end of the game, we had these supers, and we said, if we hit 30 supers, each of us will chug a beer. And then we hit the 30, and then so I had to chug another beer. So I ended up probably over that period of time, maybe we were on there 3 hours for that show, for the inaugural edition of Bottom of the Pint. Probably ended up drinking 6 or 7 beers. So I was fine. Had some dinner, ordered in, ate bad food because the wife is out of town. Like the kids, she's like, what are you going to cook the kids? And I'm like, I got this. And of course, after 6 beers, I walk in the house, I go, what does everybody want? And they're like, you could make this, make that. I go, I don't want to make anything. So of course, what do? We order a pizza. I'm like, well, who's just up for an awesome pizza? And they're like, yeah. And so we order pizza, and my wife's like, so did you cook something nice? Did you have vegetables? Did you have all the food groups? I'm like, oh yeah, cooked green beans, chicken. It was very, very healthy. And she's like, oh, good. Just so don't tell her. So after hanging out watching baseball, and it was a great game yesterday, I think I'm going to go inside and be like, okay, Mr. Mom, it's time to cook. Like, I'm not cooking. I'm ordering a pizza. And I shouldn't have the pizza, but I'm like, I'm having pizza. Just drank a bunch of beers. I'm feeling good. So I wouldn't say that I am hungover in any way, shape, or form because it was day drinking. I would say I'm a little tired. I stayed up. So yeah, I'm rocking a Monster, which as I told you, my doctor's like, no more of those. Like, doc, I hardly drink any of them. I was sucking down a lot of them, but I don't anymore. All right, let's get to this whole thing. Good morning. Let's get to something. Jeff, good morning. Lund daylight savings. I told you I had to take the kids in. Top of the morning, licking his wounds from yesterday, says Hurleybird. Vernon, John, oh, there it is right there. I saw that this morning. John had too many guava Coronas last night. Yeah, they were good. I mean, they were good, but I would say like maybe 1 or 2 of them. Let me see if I can get one out of the cooler. Hang on. No, they're all gone. I drank them. I have some of these. I'm not, got a few of these. They're actually still cold because what I did was I'm always telling you about how my wife has all these different contraptions and things so she feels better. I tell you about stem cell from Dr. Riopel. And so because she's not using all these wraps and cold packs, I put all these wraps and cold packs in my cooler, and they're actually still cold. And so I have some Stellas, but I looked at those and I'm like, bleh, no, not drinking this morning. No chance of that. Little chance, no chance. All right, Tacky is here this morning. Good to see you. Everyone making fun of me, of course, from yesterday. Hi, Bucko Sports. Very nice. All of a sudden, that was just so random right there. The drummer from Def Leppard only had one arm. That's right. His name is Rick Allen, and I was a drummer. I was a rock drummer. I don't know if I told you that story, but yeah, I used to drum in bands in college and make a few bucks that way. And so yeah, I'm very familiar with Rick Allen, the one-armed drummer from Def Leppard. Got in a car accident, actually. They were drinking. Mike, it was great to see you in there last night. It was a good time. And yesterday, Steve, great to see you. Smiley Dan, hello. Baba Booey, Francis Berry is here this morning. Light the beam, Daniel, very nice to see you. I caught highlights from the A's, Daniel. I did not see the game last night. I know they lost 4-2. I know Tyler Soderstrom socked a couple of home runs last night. I saw that in the box score, but I did not watch them, but I will be watching them, especially when they're in Sacramento. And we said this yesterday with Larry. I'm definitely going to make a trek up there early in the season. I don't disagree with you on that. If you go Modelo over Corona, I just had a weird. I don't know. I was in the store yesterday before the show, and I went Corona Citrus. I like the dark Modelo's. Outstanding. No, I like those a lot. Pacifico's not bad. I don't know. I'm weird this way. I like Mexican beers. I like vacations on the beach. That's kind of my thing. And so I'm a big fan. Like it a lot. It's not that I don't like Pliny the Elder. I do. It's just that I knew we were going to be chugging beers. And I said this yesterday. Good morning, Kenny. It's good to see you. All I was saying is that I wasn't going to be, chugging IPAs and stuff like that, 9-10% IPAs, because if I drank 6 of those over a 3-hour period, or because we were chugging beers at the end because we were putting supers up, people were like, chug the beer, chug, and so we did, and so I wasn't going to be doing those. Yeah, I wasn't going to be doing those. Yeah, Rick Allen flipped his vet. That's right. That's crazy. High and Dry was a great album. Great call by you, by the way. So yeah, we can get into a beer conversation. Yeah, that's like Mike is saying. Those things just flow. A little bit citrus. Like my dog already wants out. My dog is like, I've already had it with you. I don't want to hear you talk. And I'm like, sorry, bro. Like, the door's closed. You chose to stay in here. Look, he's looking. So what happens is the studio is adjacent to the house, but it faces the backyard. And he loves just running the backyard. There's all these dogs that are in our neighborhood, but behind fences, and it just drives him batty crazy. And so look he's coming up to me right now. He wants out. Look at him. He's like, yeah, I've had enough of you. Hang on a second. Now I got to let him out. What's wrong with you? What? You were going to hang out for a minute. Look at. What's up? What's up, dude? Good morning. Hello. All right. I got to let him out. Go. Hit the road. Unbelievable. He came in. So he doesn't hang out with me at all. Not for 1 minute. He follows. If you have a dog, you know this. They just have a favorite, and they don't, not in their brain like this is my favorite. So he just follows my wife around all day long. If the kids are home, he'll follow them around. If it's last ditch resort, so the kids are at school, wife is out of town, I'm here, and he's like, I guess I'll hang with you. And then he hangs for me for like 10 minutes. He's like, this is boring. This is lame. And he can't see because I have it all dark in here. And so there's these curtains that cover the door. We have like French doors going into the studio. And he kind of pokes his head out there. He knows there's other dogs running around out there. He's going crazy. And so he's like circling around and poking his nose through the curtain, and he can see. And then he'll poke through and he'll look at me like, come on, bro, let me out. So I told him right at the beginning before we went on there, I go, you don't want to be in here. And I opened the door and I go. And he looked at me. He was laying on the floor and he was like, no, I'm good. Like, we're cool. I knew he wouldn't last. I just didn't think it would be in the first 5 minutes of the show. Anyway, good morning. Did I say hi to Tacky, Joe, Smiley? Okay, we're good. Good morning. All right, let's get to this thing. So early on, let me pop the box score up here. Early on in that game, we were laughing if you tuned in at all. So we were doing drinks for all sorts of different things. And we're like, okay, well, if they get a hit, if they get on base, if they get like, we're getting frustrated, right? Because Hunter Green strikes out 5 of the first 6 Giants. They look bad. I told you that if we got negative in that show yesterday, people were going to have to put into a swear jar, which, by the way, for those who are around, people did an amazing job self-policing, like, I'm getting negative. And I put in the swear jar a couple of things. By the way, Mike's in here today. He predicted the Ramos Oppo Taco and the Wilmer 3-run shot to put the thing out of reach yesterday. So well done by you, my friend. And he's like, look at, I just said, and it was like, he's right. He absolutely nailed both of those. But in a game, and just to surmise everything, and I'll throw the box score up here in a second, to win that game, and it's only one game, but it's the one we have to go on, to win that game in the fashion that they did when Logan Webb isn't pitching very well. The bullpen picks you up. Ryan Walker gives up one, which didn't end up hurting in the end. But everybody else that went to the mound was absolutely nails. Willie Adames strikes out 3 times. He doesn't look really good. But, like Jung-Hoo Lee is not going to be huge in the box score. You're going to look at it, but he scored 2 runs. He worked 2 walks. Absolutely huge day. And you look at it and you go, provided, great defense in center field, all those kind of things. So that is going to fly under the radar. Ramos with the 2-run shot, a wall scraper to right in the Great American Small Park that doesn't go out of just about any other park but that one. Absolutely huge. And then when Wilmer gets up to the plate, and I have to admit it 100%, I'm like, man, why just put up Matos, man? His at-bats have been terrible. And he got it. The one thing about professional hitters is, and when healthy, Flores is a professional hitter, is if you make a mistake to him, they're probably going to make you pay. They're going to put a good swing on the ball. Now, sometimes it doesn't go to the yard or whatever, but you knew right when you hit it, it was just a bad ball. And in the minor leagues, that's the big difference is people look at it and they say, well, what's the difference? Well, it's the consistency of the pitches, obviously, at the major league level versus the minor league level. But from a hitting standpoint, you can get away with a lot more bad pitches than you can in the majors. Good major league hitters, let alone great major league hitters, they don't miss it. It doesn't mean that it's going to go out of the park. You can have high velocity rates and all those kind of things off the bat, and it doesn't mean you're going to get a hit. It just means you put a good swing on the ball, and then the baseball gods take over from there. But it was a bad pitch. Wilmer Flores just said, "Are you kidding?" He said after the game he knew it was a home run, and we'll play that for you in just a second. But just put a professional at bat together and ends up winning the game, and that's just a huge game. When the general way that the Giants are going to win games this year is going to be really good pitching, really good, starting pitching, good relievers. You think of Logan Webb, you think of 7th inning, Duvall 8th inning, Ryan Walker 9th inning. Giants win the game 3-2, 2-1, something like that. That's going to be the recipe for the majority of their games. So to score 6 runs, and it's a small ballpark, I get it, but you go in the 9th inning, you're down. Patrick Bailey, who hopefully he can sustain throughout the season because Patrick Bailey comes up with a lot of big hits. It's just that he wears down and gets tired. That's been the first 2 years. And then Wilmer Flores, and Bob Melvin said it after the game. He said he just didn't have his lower half last year, didn't have his core, couldn't hit the ball. I was like, no kidding. He had 4 home runs versus 23. So I'm not saying off one game that Wilmer Flores is back or making any kind of proclamation like that. But you do have to admit as well that he has had some big hits in his career as a Giant. He comes up in big spots and does well. And last night just didn't miss it. I mean, that's what it came down to. So here's your box score from last night. And as you can see right there, bullpen was great. Logan Webb, not so much. Bullpen was absolutely great. I will never understand as you look at the other thing from the Reds, and I said this during yesterday's game when we were watching it live, and if you're new, that's what we're doing with Bottom of the Pint. Larry Kruger and I from the Krug Show are doing a Giant show each Friday. We had to do it for opening day, but each Friday we're doing a show, and it's in-game, interactive, a lot of fun, so bring your beer and peanuts and everything like that, like I did yesterday, and we just had a great time. But Hunter Green is absolutely crushing it. Strikes out 5 of the first 6. And I can remember this only because this is when my baseball career ended in high school. I just remember they would take out a dominant kid, and in the dugout, there would be just this literally audible, where it was like, thank God I don't have to go against that guy again. And then you could start raking. And that's kind of what happened yesterday is they just, bullpen to bullpen, he comes out of the game, and the Giants say, okay, now we're cooking with gas. And I get it. Okay, let's keep the guy under control. But when somebody is pitching like that, and he's got pitches in the eight, I just think you can go to 100 pitches. And we say this all the time. Even though they try to keep pitch counts under control and all these kind of things, there are not less arm injuries in Major League Baseball than there were. There are more. Now, a lot of it has to do with the velocity in which they're throwing with. There's, the band in there can only withstand so much. And so the torque that they're throwing with, they're throwing so hard, they're tweaking these pitches so hard, all these kind of things, and spin rates are so huge, and all that. That's leading to the arm injuries. And I'm not saying to go back to 300 innings and 27 complete games and all these kind. I'm not advocating for that. But what I am saying is, Hunter Green's worked himself the entire offseason. He's a professional athlete. He's an all-star pitcher, and then the Reds take him out after like 85 pitches. And if you're the Giants, you're going, thank God. Like early in that game, they didn't have a clue against that guy. An absolute clue. Jung-Hoo Lee works a walk. Give Ramos a ton of credit for going Oppo Taco, but that thing wall scrapes, barely gets over, and there's your 2 runs. And then they go to the bullpen, and then the Giants go, okay, awesome. We'll take our bullpen against your bullpen, and it's just a nice win. Really nice win. So let's get some post-game reaction. Here first is Logan Webb, who is always, like I say, honest to a fault. It's just nice. He'll analyze things both positively and negatively and just how he sees it. He's not a BSer. So here's Logan Webb. Poor performance, but happy for the win.
Team won, so that's all that matters. And it was definitely a grindy start. Not exactly how I wanted to start, but I thought all things said and done, we'd be all right.
How nice is it to watch the comeback in that ninth inning?
Yeah. I feel like you could feel it kind of going into those innings. I mean, I was just sitting in here, so I wasn't in the dugout, but just seemed like at some point we were going to get a big hit or do something. And, we just kind of found a way to get it done, and that's exactly what we want to do. We want to be resilient, and we did that.
All right, so there's Logan Webb, and as he admits, not a great performance by him. He can certainly do better, but that's what I mean is, last year, and one of the things that is it's talking point, storyline, whatever you want to call it, from game one is they struck out 17 times. So let's not forget a year ago against Garrett Cole in New York and the Yankees, and with Logan Webb going to the mound, they struck out 16 times. They're going to strike out a lot. I'd like him to put the ball in play more. You never know what's going to happen if you do it, but that's just the reality of it. Willie Adames strikes out 3 times. They're going to have a lot of guys strike out. And especially against a guy like Hunter Green, who can hump it up there nearly 100 miles an hour, throw with some nasty break on some sliders. That's just going to happen. You're going to have that kind of thing. And then Garrett Cole, he's a strikeout pitcher. They're a high strikeout team. That's just how they are. But the encouraging thing, and Webb said it right there, is, he didn't pitch very well. Their recipe for winning is going to be, he's going to pitch 7. They're going to get an 8 and 9 out of Duvall and Walker. Hopefully they're going to scratch out 3 runs, and they're going to win a baseball game 3-2. That's going to be the majority of their wins this year. So to get 6 runs, to get it late in the 9th inning, it's 1 out of 162, but that's all we have to go on right now. That's cool. Because I mean, we're sitting there and there's nothing going on, and we're trying to hype up a new show and trying to suck down some beers and have a good time. And all of a sudden the 9th inning comes around, and believe me, I was like, put Matos up, man. I'm sick of Wilmer's at bats today. And then he pops a 3-run shot. So obviously I'm wrong. And Bob Melvin after the game said, hey, he's healthy now, and that's going to make a huge difference. Here's Wilmer, one of the good guys on the Giants regardless, talking about how he knew it was a bomb right off the bat.
Once I hit, I knew it was gone. I was just trying to keep my cool and that at bat, not to rush anything, and I was just looking for a base hit, and I got rewarded with a homer.
I want to play just the end of that part.
As I hit, I knew it was gone.
Watch the pitcher. Watch where the pitch is.
Try to keep my cool and that at bat, not to rush anything, and I was just looking for a base hit, and I got rewarded with a homer.
I mean, it's a batting practice breaking pitch, and it's opening day. I understand that, but he knew right when he threw it, and Wilmer knew it right when he swung at it. It was just, as I told you a couple of minutes ago, professional hitters don't miss pitches. Now, whether that's a deep fly to left field on some days or, whatever the case may be, but he didn't miss the pitch, and you just can't get away with that stuff. That was a BP, like, almost like a home run derby breaking ball. Like, hey, I'm throwing a breaking ball. Here it comes. And he just hung it in there, just spun, and he hits the ball out of the ballpark. So 1 of 162. It's not changing anything of my opinion, but huge for Wilmer Flores and what that can mean. I wrote the preview of the Giants season at johnlundunleashed.com, and one of the things I said in there, let me pop this up on the screen really quickly, and I want to get your thoughts as well. Give me your thoughts on what you thought of yesterday, if it means anything. And we're still, just because it's one game, still getting your thoughts on the Giants this year. But as I point out here, in just one game, I go through all this kind of stuff, last year's stats, projected lineups, all this kind of stuff. And then I gave you the 5 keys, Giants keys for 2025. Obviously, the starting pitching, 2, 3, and the lineup, which yesterday, kind of mixed. I mean, 3 strikeouts for Willie Adames, but Lee got on twice and scored 2 runs. Surprise guys is what I put 4th, and it says Wilmer Flores hit 23 home runs in 23. He hit 4 last season. Lamont Wayne Jr., 18, and an 808 OPS in 21. Blah, 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 blah. I just essentially said some of these guys have got to come through as I talk about the what ifs. So there's Flores, there's Wade Jr., there's Matos, there's Schmidt, those kind of guys. Somebody has got to come through and be a surprise guy. I'm not taking a victory lap. That's not what it is at all. It's just that some of these guys that we're thinking to ourselves aren't that good have got to come through. I think that's my whole point in that whole exercise of that conversation. And at least for one day, Wilmer Flores did. So nice win for the Giants. Nice comeback for the Giants. Do I expect them to score 6 runs very often? No. Do I expect them to come back and score 4 in the ninth? No. But it was good to see the bullpen pick up Logan Webb. That was huge. Yeah, they struck out 17 times. They're going to strike out a lot. That's just what they're going to do. They're going to strike out a lot. So Wilmer on the chalkboard. Wilmer, Bailey with a big hit that kind of gets forgotten because of the Flores home run. You heard from Logan Webb. Bullpen was really good. Bottom of the pint I've talked about. And opening day just in general, I love it. Opening day is awesome. I dig it. I hate that you have to sit out the second day. Like today's a Friday and you don't have a Giants game. I understand because if there was a rain out or something, but it's like you have momentum. You want to see it going. Now, the thing that's interesting to me here is now it gets interesting in that, okay, Logan Webb, and he didn't pitch well, but you expect him to be Logan Webb. Now, Justin Verlander in spring, is that real? We'll find out tomorrow. Robbie Ray in spring coming back from Tommy John. We'll find out Sunday. Is that real? We'll find out. These now it becomes key to me. The Logan Webb starts, he'll be better. Okay, I put those in the bank. Justin Verlander, 42, coming off a neck injury. Robbie Ray, 33, more removed from TJ surgery. And then the young guys hit. So let's see. Because it's funny. Spring is kind of like whatever, spring. And I heard from some people saying, hey, it's winning. It's because they were 21-6. I don't know. I guess you could say that. I just think, these are Major League Baseball players. That was a hanging pitch in the zone that Wilmer Flores is not gonna miss. If that thing's buried away and they don't win the game, then what does 21-6 mean? I don't think it means anything other than, like I said, injuries. And the irony there is if Encarnacion doesn't have a broken hand from spring training, he's probably the DH. And Wilmer Flores is a pinch hitter sometimes off the bench, but that's what happened yesterday. So nice win. Not overreacting to it, but a really nice win for the Giants to do it in the fashion that they did it. If they lose the next 2 and you and I reconvene on Monday, then it means nothing. And we're back talking to what we've been talking about with the Giants. That's where I have Giant expectations on the chalkboard about halfway down. I guess what I would call a successful season, obviously playoffs is the goal here. Now playoffs for the Dodgers be like, and we lose in the first round, that's not good. But as far as the Giants are concerned, what I think their goal is playoffs. What I think is a reasonable expectation, as I put Giants expectations up there, is be in contention. And I mean till the last part of it. And I popped this up yesterday, and I think these guys are a little low on all the numbers across the board. But this is Baseball Prospectus and what they call their PECOTA standings and their projections. They update these every single day. So it's not like they just do this and then they let it fly. They update this. So this was before yesterday's game, but it's not a lot has changed. 77.8. So 78 wins for the Giants is where they are. They've got them in 4th place. They don't have them anywhere close as far as the wild card is concerned. The Phillies at just over 85 wins would be the last wild card in. So what I'm saying, my Giant expectation is if the Giants could win 83 games, and if, let's say, the Phillies did win 85, 86, then you're in it till like the last week of the season. That would be my expectation, is that at the very least, the Giants are in it. And then that way, what I'm hoping, if I'm a Giants fan, is that Buster Posey was given the purse strings for a minute. Okay, the store is open. Oh, I got Willie Adames. Closed. Like, that's it. Like, we're not signing anybody else. Now they got Verlander, they got a couple other minor signings, but it was Adames. That was it. I would think maybe the Giants front office would say, I'll tell you what, Buster, you show me that this is a competent team and we're in it, and I'll open up the purse strings a little bit more and we'll see what we can do and what we need. I think that they would do that around the deadline. I'm not talking about a superstar player. I'm not talking about Vlad at the deadline, although I will say that I think the Blue Jays lost yesterday, and I was kind of like, I hope the Blue Jays lose, and then they keep losing, and maybe the Giants would be in on something. I know who Bryce Eldridge is. I get it. I'd put him in a trade in a second for Vlad Guerrero. But anyway, that's for a long time down the line at the trade deadline. But that's what I would hope, is that the front office tells Buster Posey, you show us that this team can win a little bit, stay in the wild card hunt, and then we'll revisit loosening of the purse strings a little bit later. So that's what it is. So my expectation would be, playoffs would be nice, I don't know that I'm not going to say that right now. And I said yesterday in my prediction for the season that they would win 83 games, and obviously one game is not going to change that. So I'm thinking about 83 games for the Giants, which, if Baseball Perspectives is anywhere close to accurate, then, and they're saying the Phillies are going to win between 85 and 86 games, then you're in the wild card hunt till the end. And that, if you're a Giants fan, that would bring me out to the ballpark. That would keep me interested in things. I mean, I was talking to friends about content of the show today, and I was like, when we do 49ers content, it blows through the roof. When we do Warriors content, it's a little bit less. And when we do Giants content, it's a little bit less than that. But I was telling this person this morning, I said, if they start winning, and I reflect this back to my KNBR days, if they start winning, then people get interested. Our numbers on KNBR would start kind of like this. And what it tells you with Giants baseball, and what that tells you is people are just right now just sitting back going, oh, okay, that's a nice win. Uh-huh. Yeah. And we'll see. So we'll see. And then if they start winning like 2021, it was just like blew out off the roof, right? If they stay in contention, people will be interested in it. If they don't, then it's nice weather out. We start finding other things to do. We'll go to the ballpark, but we'll go to the ballpark for the social aspect of it. Let's go across the street. Let's have a few beers. Let's hang out. Friends are going to meet us. It's a nice day in the city. We go have dinner afterwards, all that kind of stuff. There's a social aspect to baseball that there is in football, but it's tailgating in football. In the NBA, you're going inside. It's a beautiful day. Let's go spend the day at the ballpark outside, make a day of it, go early, stay late, all those kind of things. There's a social aspect to it. And if they're not winning, you'd rather have them win. But the casual fan's going to go, and they're like, as I talk about this all the time, and I talked about with Larry yesterday, the ballpark to the Giants is the star of the show. The turnstiles are the star of the show. The garlic fries are the star of the show. When they said that they're going to sell a portion of the team, they didn't say, the first thing out of their mouth was not, we're going to make the baseball operations better. The first thing out of their mouth was, we're going to make the suites better. We're going to make Willie Mays Plaza better. We're going to, they're sprucing up the stadium so that they can get more money. They're investing in the team, but they're not investing, or at least not saying they're investing on the baseball side. They're investing on the entertainment side, because they know the hardcore fan they've got, the casual fan they want to get more to the ballpark. And so they're going to invest, at least publicly, they're going to say this, they're going to invest in the park, who they think is the really big star of the show, the star of the team. So in order to change that, they've just got to get better and better and better. Chicken or the egg kind of a situation, but for one day, it absolutely worked. It's exciting. So our numbers will go up both here and across the board everywhere from a media standpoint if the Giants win. So we'll see. By the way, before we move on and I go out to the chat line and get some Giants questions out of the way before we move on to other things, I will be at opening day. And so opening day, if you're going to be at the park, or if you're going to be around the park, or if you're going to be at a bar or whatever, and you want to say hello and have a beer, hit me up. John at JohnLundUnleashed.com. John at JohnLundUnleashed.com. You can leave me comments here on the YouTube channel, John Lund Unleashed. You can leave me comments on X at John Lund Radio. So we got a bunch of people watching on X this morning. So either way, however you want to get a hold of the show or get a hold of me, great, because I do know that I'm going to be covering a bunch of Giants games this year. I told you this yesterday. I'm excited to get back to kind of my radio roots a little bit. We do the show in the morning. I can zip out of here, go down to Oracle Park. Same thing with the Warriors in the playoffs. Same thing with the Niners next year. We're going to have great access to these teams, talk to a lot of players, do some interviews. Even Krug and I, for the Friday show, for the Bottom of the Pint show, we're going to go down earlier in the week, and we're going to do some interviews. Then we'll play them for the Bottom of the Pint show, all that kind of stuff throughout the show. So it's going to be a good time, and I'm going to kind of go back to my roots as a reporter and go down and do some interviews and cover some games and everything like that, which a lot of times it just didn't allow me to do with my schedule on KNBR. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, that's day one for the Giants. What did you think? What are your expectations for the season? What would be acceptable for you? Playoffs or bust? Stay in it till the end? Papa would always say so many times over the last years, if they could win this game, they get over 500. 500 does nothing for me. Playoffs do something for me. Contending for the playoffs do something for me. They don't have the expectations of a Dodgers or a Phillies or a Braves, nor should they. That's just not where they are. So I'm being realistic in it. I mean, some people may say, World Series or bust, man. That's how I feel like the Giants. And I don't blame you if that's your thought. They're a major market team that too many times doesn't act like a major market team. But one thing I will say is that they have given themselves, and NFL teams like to do this, they have given themselves some leeway to add something. There's a ceiling there. They're below, I think they're below the tax number by about $25 million. So let's say they're decent. Let's say they're I almost said title, a playoff contender. Then they'll have room at the deadline to add some salary and not go over any kind of a line. So that's part of the strategy probably here. We only gave you Adamas, a few other things like Verlander. Let's see what you are. And if you are a playoff contender and we're deep into the season and we're sitting around the deadline and you're within a couple of games of this thing, okay, we do have some headspace here to add some salary. And that's what I would expect. So if they are in it and knowing that they have some room under the number, which, by the way, it's not prohibitive. It's not like the NBA. That's what frustrates me. They don't give you the penalties like that. So they could be over right now and they could still add, but they don't choose to do that. Okay, I accept that. But now you get to the deadline. If you're a contender, then you need to add. And they do have some space to do that. All right, so that is my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on game number 1 for the Giants. I'd love to get your thoughts as well. Let me hit this up a little bit. That's a good call right there, Mary. Very good call. Morning, boys. Different one. Morning, boys. Fozzie, good to see you. I'm in. I just want them to be fun to watch and competitive. That's it. That's a great point. Is so many times over the last number of years, and I started covering the Giants in 2010, and then 2011, I remember 2010 being so much fun, but then 2011, you would sit in the box, and I covered a lot of games that year. You sit in the box, and they'd go down like a run, and you're just like, oh, God. Like, they can't score. And a lot of times when we've seen that, 10, 12, and 14 is one thing. But after that, it was like in 16, they get to the playoffs, I understand that. But so many years, it was like they just can't score, and they're just not fun to watch. And we're not, and I say this in a good way, we're not the East Coast. We're not just hardcore it all the time. The Giants are an entertainment entity. I know that we are more into them than we would be going to the beach or wine country or anything like that. But what I mean by that is that if you don't entertain us at the very least, it's very hard for us to buy tickets and then make you a priority. Now, we may watch on TV, but in terms of saying, okay, I've got X amount of dollars to spend on entertainment and go on vacations and do these different things, am I going to make the Giants a priority? Am I going to go to 8 or 10 games, which are fairly expensive during a season, if they're not at least winning is one thing, but if at least they're not fun to watch? Because I'll prioritize a Saturday or Sunday. I love going to day baseball. There's nothing better in professional sports to me, even though I've covered it for years and years and years and years and years, and I get jaded this way because it becomes a job sometimes, or it did become a job. And so you're like, do I really want to go where I work and use that as my off time? Well, I do. I love baseball that much, but only if they're fun to watch. I don't want to go and like, that's why the Verlander start to me is really important, because Verlander throughout his career has been a guy, and this is where baseball is really unique. Verlander's been a guy throughout his career that it's like, am I going to buy a ticket to go see Justin Verlander pitch, a Hall of Famer? Hell yeah, I am. Even at 42, coming off a neck injury, if he shows me that he's got it, he's fun to watch, man. Like I told you, I saw his first start on July 4th. I think it was 2005 in Detroit. He was a second overall pick at Old Dominion, and he was brought up from the minors on the back end. I can't remember if he pitched the front or the back end of a doubleheader on July 4th. And we went to the game, and I don't remember what his line was or anything, but when you were there, it was like, okay, this guy's special. And there's pitchers like that throughout time. And it doesn't matter if it's the opposition, doesn't matter if it's a guy in the Giants. I mean, Lincecum was a totally different story. Like, Lincecum's pitching, we're going. The Giants would say that when Lincecum would pitch at home, there was a walk-up of about 10,000. 10,000 when Lincecum would pitch. It was just Lincecum's pitching. And baseball is unique in that way, because in all the other sports, hopefully Steph is playing. Hey, Steph's playing, Purdue's playing. These guys, they're playing for the most part. You look at baseball and you're like, well, who's on the mound tonight? If you're going to walk up and buy tickets, you're not a season ticket holder, whatever. You're going to use that app on your phone. And you say to yourself, okay, well, who's pitching tonight? And you might go anyway. Maybe, for casual fans, it really doesn't matter. Like, okay, let's go to the Giants game. It's a Saturday. The weather looks like it's going to be beautiful. Let's just go. We don't know who's pitching. But for a lot of people, the difference between going to a game and not going to a game is Tim Lincecum was pitching. I don't know if Logan Webb is that. I mean, Logan Webb is solid. It's not like he's flashy. But Justin Verlander is the type of guy where it's like he's going to the Hall of Fame. He might be able to strike out 10, 12 guys tonight. That'll be fun to watch. Let's just go check it out. So to me, it's a big start for Justin Verlander because it's the Giants and it's the season and it's game number 2. But it's also because if I'm the Giants and I'm a marketing side of things, is Justin Verlander Hall of Fame pitcher? Is that the guy we're going to see this year? Because I'm not saying he's going to get a 10,000 walk-up, but he's, I would pay to see him pitch. And, and we have seen him pitch quite a few times, but he's the type of guy where I'm like, yeah. So anyway, I took what are your Giant expectations and went on a whole tangent about that. So I'd love to know just your expectations are. That was a great point by Mary. Look, just be entertaining at the very, very the very least, be entertaining. I mean, I think that's good. Morning, boys. Hi, Posse. Posse had some really good stuff yesterday. I can't remember exactly, but you had some really good stuff yesterday. Very good stuff. All right, I'll keep them going. Keep them going throughout. Hi, Sam. Good to see you. I know we've seen you before, but it's really, 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 really nice. You're saying exactly what I'm thinking. Stay in it to the end. Keep it interesting. And if you're in it at the deadline, you owe us damn fans to add something. You're under the number. Maybe I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I told you yesterday how I was going to approach the season for the Giants, which is I'm going to have a positive attitude. I was generally positive yesterday. I owed the swear jar 4, and we should do that in here too. We did it for the bottom of the pint. I'll stay positive. I owed the swear jar because I was negative on Wilmer. And what did he do? I was like, they should pinch it for him right now. Home run. That was beautiful. It goes back to my theory of I bet on something and you. Oh, by the way, the other thing is just to tell you how great I am with betting. I think I took this off the board today because I remember doing it. I should have kept it up there. Yeah, I took it off the board today. But so what I say yesterday, I said, what a prop bet I really, really like was plus 2,500 on Brent Rooker to lead the American League in home runs. See what he did last night? Probably didn't because you were probably drinking during the day as well. But he struck out 4 times in Seattle yesterday. The curse of Lund. He struck out 4 times yesterday. I'm like, Brent Rooker at plus 2,500. In fact, my son is at a formal for his fraternity in Las Vegas this weekend, staying at the Paris. So if you see a man with a mustache that is absolutely terrible with kind of bushy-looking hair, you remember him at the Super Bowl during when he was joining us from the Super Bowl in New Orleans on Radio Row, Media Row. If you see that kind of a person and you're at the Paris in Las Vegas this weekend, that is him. And I told him, I gave him money. I gave him $100. I go, hey, throw $100 in this Rooker bet just for the heck of it for me, will you please? And he struck out 4 times yesterday. I got to just leave that one alone. Just not even talk about it because I'm terrible at that. I'm just terrible. Guy strikes out 4 freaking times. Yeah, Fitzgerald was not great. Fitzgerald was not great yesterday. Tyler Fitzgerald. I'm not going to freak out. I am not going to freak out. But yeah, look, Adames had 3 strikeouts. Tyler Fitzgerald looked pretty clueless at the bottom. It wasn't great. It was not great. Hi, Nate. Thank you. Episode 100. That's a big deal. Episode 100. Hi, 49ers faithful. Good morning to you this morning. Krug was trying to pace himself. I did not pace myself, Jake, yesterday, because you know what happens? And I don't know if this is just me. I really don't know if it's just me. Baseball, I've told you this before, especially in the wintertime. I'm weird this way, and maybe you're this way too. But what I do in the wintertime, and I don't want to over-embellish. I don't want to over-embellish. I don't want to embellish my drinking habits because they're not. I don't overdo it. But in the wintertime, if I have a cocktail, it's usually going to be like an old-fashioned or whiskey on the rocks or a darker alcohol. In the summertime, I definitely like vodka more. Not foo-foo drink so much, but I wouldn't mind like a vodka soda with like a splash of lemonade in there or something nice if it's a nice day and I'm outside or whatever. Vodka soda, basic vodka soda, very nice, refreshing kind of a thing. So I like those kind of things. I'm not a huge beer drinker, but when it comes to baseball, I don't know what it is, whether it's at the ballpark where they just taste so good with the dog and some peanuts or whatever. But then yesterday, because I had brought, if you weren't with the show yesterday that we're going to do every Friday with Krug, we're going to do interactive during the Giants game every Friday, bottom of the pint. It was a great time yesterday. A lot of people came in. It was a lot of fun. But I had a cooler full of beer, like I hear, and then I had like peanuts, popcorn, hot dog. Like I had this whole setup of opening day. And these beers, I had them like I said, not on ice, but on all this stuff that my wife used to use for her various ailments. So they were ice cold, and they just were like boom, 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 boom. They were just easy. They were just easy to go down. And then by the time, and I was drinking because I was thinking, we're going to drink for good Giants moments, and they weren't happening early. So I'm just drinking because they were in front of me. And before I knew it, I already had like 6 down. And like you said, Krug was kind of pacing himself there. And so it wasn't that I was overserved or anything like that, but I was just thinking we're not going to have any fireworks today, so I might as well just drink them. And so that's what I did. And we had a good time, had by all. But by the end of it, I was like, geez, better slow down a little bit. It was a good time. We had a really good time. Let's see. Hi, Patrick. Very nice. Very nice to see you today. What else do we have? Surfbone. Surfbone was in there yesterday. That was a good time, man. Surfbone was there yesterday. Saw a lot of you. That pint show was great. It was. We had a great time. Had a lot. Pig in a pickle. There's a good reference. Pig in a pickle will keep one sober after a drink party. Yeah, that was probably part of my problem as well yesterday is I brought in a bunch of snacks. So I showed you those dot pretzels that you shouldn't buy the cinnamon and sugar because you'll just eat the whole thing. I talked about that yesterday. But I had a barbecue version of those that were good. I have peanut shavings all over my desk and keyboard today. I need to get a cleaner in here because I had the peanuts and I had them here, and I actually had a bowl. It was actually a silver dog bowl. That was smart. Where's that thing? Anyway, I had that thing, and so I'm doing peanuts. And so the beers are just flowing, watching the game. I got a TV here, I got a TV behind me. I got the iPad with it had the stats on it. And so I'm just like, having a good time, hanging out with everybody. And before I know it, I'm, over serving myself because the beers were cold. Is that a psychological thing? I told you we need experts on this team. I need a psychologist. Is there some psychology to? I'm not a huge beer guy, but at a baseball game, I love them. Sitting here yesterday, kind of had the atmosphere of baseball, obviously on opening day, and we're having a great time. I felt like they tasted amazing, and normally I'll just pop one on like a normal day, and I'm like, it's okay. But yesterday they were outstanding. Somebody said I had glossy eyes yesterday. I have to go back and look at that one. If you go to no, Krug didn't bring in any pig in a pickle. There's nothing. And like I said, I got tipsy because I was just kind of snacking on stuff. I really didn't, I didn't really eat as much as probably I should have. But yeah, no pig in a pickle, no sandwiches. Like I said, at the end of the day, the kids just had to love me because I'm drinking beers and stuff. And my wife calls up. She's out of town, like I said, and she calls me up and says, now make sure that you cook something healthy for dinner for them. Vegetables, this and that. I'm like, so I walk in and I said, hey, what do you guys want for dinner? And they're like, this. They must have talked to my wife like, oh, well, you could cook us this, cook us that. I'm like, yeah. And then I get done with them and I say to myself, I'm not cooking anything. I'm not cooking anything after watching baseball. I'm all amped up from the Giants win on opening day. I had way too many, not way too many, but I had a few beers. I'm like, I'm not cooking. And I'm a good cook, good barbecue. I do the majority of the cooking in the house. I have no issue with it. I love to cook. But last night it was like, no chance. And we're not getting good food yesterday. Caesar says tequila over vodka. You could convince me of that. I mean, I like nice, refreshing vodka drinks in the summer. But if you told me, like, I'll give you a quick one because like I said, I bartended for years in Hawaii right out of college, which my parents really loved. Using that college education, are you, son? Is a margarita where you go, but just a real fresh one, okay? Not in a tall glass, about medium rocks glass. And what you do, fill it with ice. You do a normal margarita, but you put it in the shaker. But what you do is normal margarita, but not so much mix, just a splash of mix, fresh lime juice, a couple of limes in there, splash of cranberry juice, a little Grand Marnier, shake that sucker cold, put that over ice with a couple of limes in it. Very refreshing, outstanding, a little sweet, a little sour. And we used to suck those down in Hawaii all the time. And I tell you this all the time, when I would get done with my shift and it was in Waikiki, they would give you 2 free drinks at the bar. And my friend's name was Alfred. This is years ago. And he would make me 2 of the strongest margaritas, as I just described, with the little cranberry juice in it to offset the sour. And I sucked 2 of those things down. And it was like, I had a bike and I would ride around in an apartment in Waikiki. I was staying with a girlfriend at the time. And I would ride this thing home, and a couple of times I'd look down at my bike and it would be like mangled. And I was like, yeah, that's probably too much. Couldn't do that. Yeah, I don't know what it is, Mark. It's just ice cold beer it tastes really good. at a ball game. I don't know the psychology, like I said. I don't know what the psychology of it, but like I said, I'm not a huge beer guy, but you're at a ball game and it's like, man, this is good. And for some weird reason yesterday, it was like I felt like I was at the ballpark and the suckers were just going down. And I'm like, these are good. Like I said, I would agree with you. It was not a mango Corona or whatever people are giving me grief about. People are giving me grief about it. I didn't think we would. Like, I was at the store yesterday and I was looking at it and I thought, all right, I could just get some regular Coronas. Because like I said, I knew that we were going to be casually drinking throughout the show. So I'm not going to buy a 9 or a 10% IPA and just by the third inning, it's like, hey, Lund's asleep. Larry, wake up, Lund. I wasn't going to do that. And so they were good. They were good. Good to see you, Dom. Thank you for the congratulations on 100. Cheers to the next 100 and kicking off bottom of the pint. But Dom, maybe you've talked about this. How was, and I'm sorry that I didn't make it down there and you have to meet at some point. If you're going to be an opening day, I'm going to be an opening day. But how was the show yesterday with Paulie and Creative Tony down there? And we're going to do a lot of things together. I wish I could have gotten down there. So I apologize that it died. It was not a lady beer. It was not. I've never even heard that term, but it's pretty funny. Lund loved his lady beer. No, it was good. I'm gonna have. You know what I'm gonna have to do? You're gonna make for the people who weren't here. Like, what are they talking about? I'm gonna have to go grab one of these things out of the fridge. I'm not gonna drink it, but I just need to show you this. Okay. Hi Patrick. Yeah, I think I saw you in there late yesterday. So it's every Friday Giants watch party. I caught the post game yesterday. If so, I'm in. So what we're doing is, just to reset this, and then I got to get back to the chalkboard. I'm going off on a way too long random tangent here. So what Larry and I decided was it would be a lot of fun if we did in-game shows. Now, to take you back just a little bit, in Philadelphia, because they're so hardcore, this is early in my career, in my radio career, and I was in Pittsburgh at the time. And we heard of this thing. I was working for ESPN, and we heard of this thing that WIP in Philadelphia was doing. And they didn't have the rights. I think they do now, but they didn't have the rights to the Eagles back then, the Eagles games. And so what they did was on the radio is all their guys got together and did on the radio before all the YouTube and everything blew up. They did an in-game broadcast about the game and it blew through the roof. People loved it. Now it's a really hardcore sports town. I understand that. But Larry and I were kind of shooting the shit about, what could we do for Giant season? And he does a ton of Niners stuff and everything like that. I said, it might be fun. We've kind of both collaborated on this. Might be fun if we did a Friday night thing and we did it in game. And let's just see how it goes. So it'll go as long as people like it. But yesterday for opening day, and a lot of people are working and stuff like that. We had a bunch of people in there. We had a lot of fun. And we think that on Fridays, everybody's going to come in because a lot of times it's Friday night. So maybe it's 6 or 7 o'clock. East Coast, obviously, it's maybe a 4 o'clock. But you're getting home. It's Friday. You're going to watch a Giants game. And like I said, we didn't have this yesterday, but we're going to have something in there where you can see the Giants game and you'll be able to see what's going on in the Giants game. So, because we're trying to explain it the whole time. And then, now I don't know if you still have cable, but in my house, it's all YouTube TV. So the internet, it depends on how fast your internet is.Maybe you're a smidge slow. So I was a smidge slow yesterday. So I'd be like, here's the pitch and here's this. And people are like, dude, you're behind us. So yeah. I mean, there's a couple of glitches, but by and large, it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time. So I think on Fridays, we're going to do that. And, grab a couple of beers, hang out with the show, have some fun. We had a good time. There was no Zima. There was no Smirnoff Ice. It was not a lady beer. It's nothing. It wasn't anything like that, man. It was very, good time. Good time had by all. It was rocking over 100. Wow, sold out 7 of the 9 posters and tons of merch to spread the Bay Area Sports Collective word. Thank you, Dom. That is awesome to hear, man. And I'm really sorry that I missed it. Really sorry that I missed it. I'm getting a lot of grief for the beer. I'll go back at some point. Please, let's stick a pin in this, and I'll go get the beer in just in a few minutes. Let me give something to some people who are tuned in and went, bro, are you going to talk about anything today? But it was a good time. And hey, why not? I'm not a White Claw guy. I see you there rocking New Era. I'm not a White Claw guy. I'm not really a huge seltzer guy, although I have a friend of mine who has a seltzer company, and it's not guava beer. Caesar's like, guava beer? No, it wasn't. I'm going to have to do it right now. You know what I'm going to do? Hang on a second, all right? I'm going to get this out of the way because then we can have a productive show. So we're episode 100. We talk sports sometimes. Wilmer, Bailey, Webb, bullpen, opening day, bottom of the pint. Giant expectations. It's only one game, so let's still talk about those. My expectation is very similar to Mary, which is, could you just please be entertaining? Okay, number one, be entertaining. Number two, be in it. I'm not even asking you to be a playoff team this year because I don't think that you are. And that's not being negative. I think it's being realistic. I don't think you're a playoff team. But could you stay in it until the last week? Win like 83, 84. And 2 years ago, we know this. Arizona went to the World Series winning 84. Is 84 and 78, 83 and 79? Is that too much for this team? Is that too much to ask? So that if 85 or 86 is the wild card number, that they're in it to the end? I think that's fair. Okay, hang on 1 minute, because we got to just get this out of the way. All right, just so that we can finish and we can move on. This is what I was drinking yesterday. It's called Corona Sunbrew Citrus Cerveza. And you can see it's a little cloudier than like a normal, let me get that right, than a normal Corona would be, a little cloudier than that. And it was a nice beer. Now, I drank probably 6 of these, and then I sucked down I had an Anchor Steam hazy tropical IPA, and it came in an orange can. And I've got one of those garage fridges that's probably got, over the years, it's accumulated like, I don't know, 20 different beers in there. And so I saw it in the back, and I was like, oh, an orange beer, pretty cool. And that's the one I chugged at the end of the game. But I drank probably 6 of these yesterday. They were very refreshing. I probably wouldn't drink 6 more. It wasn't heavy. It was a really light beer, and it was really good. And it's ice cold right now, and I'm almost tempted to open it, but I'm not going to, because then you people will judge me. But no, it was a good beer. And it's not a guava beer. It's just basically like if they took some orange and lime, and they give a lime in their Corona anyway, so I wouldn't put another lime in this one, and they squeezed a bunch of it into the Corona. It's a touch sweet for my taste. But I thought, you know what? It was easy to drink, and we drank a bunch of them. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, that's a good point. But anyway, yeah, airport rules. Opening day is 100% airport rules. Isn't that an awesome term, by the way? It's not a lady beer. So I'm getting lady beer again. Look what you started. Did Tacky start with the lady beer? Now everybody's saying that it's a lady beer. I love airport rules. Isn't that one of the greatest terms ever? Airport rules, which means like if you're taking a flight out, and I've done this many times, especially I know you have too, when you're going on vacation, and it could be a Tuesday, hell, it doesn't even matter. And you're going on a vacation, and you're like, I got a week, and you walk into the airport bar, and that'd be 7:30 in the morning, and you go, yeah, I'll have a beer and a tequila. Like, they don't even look at you sideways. They just go, yeah, okay, yeah, cool. Here's a tequila shot, 7:30 in the morning. Here's a beer. You want to order a couple of tacos? Yeah, I do. I'm going down to Cabo. I'm going to Cancun. Like, let's go. I'm going to Puerto Vallarta. Let's go. They don't even look at you sideways. It's the best. Yeah, an Anchor Tropical. It was an Anchor Tropical IPA. It was outstanding. And I don't know how long it's been in there. You know how they have these the born on dates and stuff? It's like, come on. Like, if a beer's 20 years old, okay, maybe, but it's like, come on. Like I said, I chugged it, so I don't know. But it's pretty good. You can see, I retweeted this. If you go to X, at John Lund Radio on X, somebody had retweeted both. They did a screen grab of both me and Larry chugging at different times. It's actually pretty funny. All right, let's go. That is not a lady beer, and it's not a guava beer. It's actually quite tasty. And I'm holding it right now, and it's ice cold. I am half tempted to drink it, but I do think that you will judge me, so I'm not going to do it. I could chug that whole beer right now, but I'm not going to do it because you guys are going to be like, that guy's got a problem. We need to report him. Oh, man. I love it. I love how much grief you're giving me today for my beer. I do enjoy this very much, by the way. It's very nice. Somebody needs an explanation. Did somebody say that they needed an explanation of an airport, the airport rules? Airport rules simply means that when you go into an airport, it could be 7 in the morning, could be 7 at night, could be Friday, could be Tuesday, could be Saturday. It doesn't matter. Most people, even if you're on a business trip, like I'll do a poll. People, I'll have a vodka on a plane, like whatever, man. That's part of the problem of why we have so many problems with. That's a senorita beer. Very well done. It's not a lady beer. That's a senorita. Hi, Papa J. Where's that one? That's really good. Tequila Sunrise is a nice drink. I don't mind that at all. Somebody saying they're going to buy me a beer on opening day. Yeah, I'm there. Where is it? Papa J said that. That's not a lady beer. That's a senorita beer. Senorita. Yeah, you're right. Very good. Hi, Ernesto Ron. It is great to see you this morning. Good morning. Okay, we've done enough damage with that. That's fine. We always say that we're going to take exit ramps and then we're going to get right back on. I mean, we took like an hour to stop at McDonald's there. It was a long one. All right. So we have done on episode 100. And again, thank you for allowing. Hello, 49ers diehard. Look, he's like, drink it. It's like Vegas rules. Exactly. You're in Vegas. You do whatever you want. And like I said, my son's in Vegas this weekend for only the third time in his life. Raiders game. Let's see, Raiders game. What we did a Raiders game. We did something else, and then actually fourth time in his life. If you can believe this, and then we're going to sports. I promise. If you can believe this, I did the final leg of a massive, long, like 1,000-mile road bike. Not a race, but it was for charity, and I did the final 110 miles of the race on a road. This was when I was in much better shape, not the shape I'm in now, like a pear, but in much better shape. And my son was very, very young and went through like this finish line at the raceway, actually in Las Vegas, and did the final leg of this whole thing. And that was the first time my son was in Las Vegas. Then we went to a Raiders game together in which he actually covered, and we did that. And then he's going, and there was one other time we were there for some random reason. And then now he's there as a 21-year-old staying at the Paris. That should be fun. I don't think he's going to strip clubs. I don't see my son as a strip club type. But then again, you always look at your kid like, oh, my son. I wouldn't care if he did. You got to do whatever you got to do. All right, let's go. Are people? Look, if other people are drinking, I'll drink. But I know I shouldn't say this because my wife will look at me. Does your wife ever do this to you, your significant other? You're at a restaurant, and the server will come up to you and say, "Can I get you something to drink besides water?" And a lot of times, you allow your significant other to order, and she'll look at me sometimes and go, "Are you going to have a drink?" And I'll go, "Why does it matter?" And she'll go, "Well, I don't want to drink by myself because people feel weird drinking by themselves." I don't generally do that, but I am working out. I do. Today I will. Yesterday I did not. There's no doubt about it. All right. That's it. That's the random part of the show. Wilmer, Bailey, Webb, bullpen, opening day, bottom of the pint, giant expectations. Keep the giant expectations going. Steve has already told me not to talk about Aiuyk. The Aiuyk thing won't die right there. And Steve says, please don't. Give me 30 seconds. Don't leave me, Steve. Give me 30 seconds. The only reason I'm bringing it up is there is no new news. We are on April 28th. So what is it? April 28th, 29th Saturday, 30th Sunday. So we're getting close to this not being a story anymore because if he's on the Niners on April 1st, or I guess after April 1st, and they write the big fat check to him, then he's not going anywhere. $22.8 million. They write the check. We don't have to talk about it anymore. I'm still steadfast that he's not going anywhere. Krug is still steadfast that he is. That Jed is just like, he just wants to get rid of him. And I totally understand the thinking. I've said this time and time again, wrote a piece on it. By the way, Caesar, I love Maker's Mark. Great call right there. I have a great story on Maker's Mark. Just a second. Let me just finish this one thought. And so I don't think he's going anywhere. We're coming down to a few days. We shall see. And then we'll never have to talk about it again. So that's all. I told you 30 seconds. That's all we'll do. No big deal. I'm not overly worried about it, but I'm just saying Bailey's is great. Love to do a Bailey's coffee. In fact, every Friday, unbeknownst to you, although I think I have said this many times, I do have a Bailey's coffee on the show. And there's nothing better to me than an Irish coffee. Love an Irish coffee. Don't need the whipped cream on top. Just nail that thing. Beautiful. Very nice. I just said a second ago that I had a story about something and I've already forgotten about it. But yeah, I'm a big Bailey's person. Do love it. Oh, I know what it was. It was Maker's Mark. So I had a friend of mine who owns a great Asian fusion restaurant in Walnut Creek, and I was in there, I don't know, maybe a year ago. And Maker's Mark, it's the one, if you're not familiar, where they dip it in and it's got the red top on it. And they dip it in this thing and then pull it out, and it's really, really good. I don't have a bottle of it in here. I do in my house, but I'm not going to run in there again to get booze. My God. But he had one that it was dipped for a Warriors championship in yellow and blue, and it had like some etching on it for the Warriors championship. And so I'm in his restaurant one time. I'm sitting at the bar having some dinner. He hands it to me. He's like, "Yeah, I got another one of these at home. You can have this one. It's awesome." In fact, do I have it in here? No, I don't. It's in my house somewhere, but it is outstanding. It's so cool. So anyway, that's my short story on that. The Barrow 6, you know what? Did I put the Barrow 6 up there? If I didn't do it, go read Matt Barrow's latest piece. And I think the thing that's interesting about it is, and I guess we just don't look at these guys like Evan Anderson on the defensive line, or Ben Barch on the offensive line, or Nick Zakel on the offensive line. We just haven't seen enough of these guys, so I don't know. But Matt Barrows has a piece right now reminding us that those guys are on the team. And he's saying, the Niners really like these guys. So while everybody is assuming that they're going to replace somebody at left guard, he thinks that Barch or Zakel could actually be one of those guys. I don't know. Did you just really chug a Coors Light, Fozzie? Did you really this early in the morning? I'm not judging you. Because, like I said, I could pop this thing. I have this weird-looking fish opener, wine, and, beer thing here. I could pop it if you guys wouldn't. You guys would probably make, again, like I said, people are like, this guy has a problem. It's like a candle wax. Yeah, on the Maker's Mark, it's like chug it. No, these are moving so fast that I'm like, chug it. No, he said it was a candle wax. Yeah, Taggy said it was candle wax. That's exactly it with the Maker's Mark. But anyway, as far as the Niners are concerned, everyone wants to talk about drinking today. Ben Barch, I don't know enough about him. We used to make fun of Ben Barch because when the inactives would come out, we called it the Ben Barch, the Memorial Ben Barch, inactives, because it was Ben Barch was always on it every single week. So I don't know if the guy can play. Who knows? Maybe he can. I don't know, because like I said, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an expert on offensive line play. But my assumption is they're going to, like I said, take a right tackle, move him to right, or take a right tackle, potential left tackle for the future, and move McKivitz into left guard. So that's was my thought on that. I do have one thing that I want to show you, and then we can move on to some Warriors stuff. We can keep talking drinking if you want. Oh, this was one other thing that I was going to mention. Speaking of the offensive line, nothing against Will Campbell, and we're coming up on April, so we can really start talking about the draft. I like Membu, the kid out of Missouri. If he's on the board at 11, I would take him. Put him at right tackle. Trent retires a year later. He's your left tackle, and you're cooking with gas. But another guy that we've talked about a lot is Will Campbell. He's a tackle out of LSU. I don't know if you saw this picture from the combine. He kind of looked like Rosie O'Donnell there a little bit. And I know that especially from me, because I'm here in a giant glass house, that physical appearance is not show fodder. I say that time and time again. Physical appearance is not show fodder. But I don't know if I could pick that guy. I just don't know. Maybe he can play. And at LSU's pro day, miraculously, we see this all the time. Look at this. LSU Will Campbell said he thinks arm length discussion is BS after he was remeasured at 33 inches, but the scrutiny over wingspan is real. So he had like 32 and 5/8 or something. Everybody said, well, anything under 33 inches, you can't play tackle in the NFL. And then miraculously, his arms grew 3/4 of an inch. And now he's at 33 inches. Amazing how that happens. Look at our pro day. Pro day guys run from like a 4.7 at the combine to like a 4.4. Guys' hand size has gone up like a half an inch. Oh, you can't be under 9 1/4 inches for hand size. Oh my God, they redid his hand size at their facility at the certain university. And oh my God, his hands grew. Oh my God, Will Campbell's arm length got longer at LSU. What? That's crazy. Like, why doesn't everybody just... Oh, sorry, my door opened and I heard a car going off, and it was I thought it was going to be mine. But it's so ridiculous, these pro days. Look, everybody go to Indianapolis. Everybody get measured. Everybody get weighed. Everybody throw. Everybody run. Everybody lift. And those are the official numbers, and that's it. Like, you don't get to go to Baton Rouge and this guy's arms grow. Like, get out of here, man. Like, I hope NFL teams don't go for that. Like Will Campbell's arms grew. Oh, he's a top 5 pick. They grew 3/4 of an inch. Like, he can either play or he can't. My problem becomes, and it shouldn't be this way because look at the way I look, and that's his 40-yard dash, obviously. I don't know if I want that guy, man, in my left side. He looks like he's 50. Like, seriously, how you look young? No, I was going to say I look younger than that guy. I don't. But, I mean, that's like a 22, 23-year-old kid there, right? He looks 35. Is it just me? Or does Will Campbell look like he's already 35? Which makes me just a little bit nervous. Like, I'm not saying that his birth certificate is in any way, shape, or form altered. Yes, I am. He looks like 35 already. And I'm gonna think that he's gonna play 10 years at left tackle for me. I don't know, man. And I'm very skeptical about the arms growing 3/4 of an inch and just going. Maybe it was just like, maybe it was the humidity in Baton Rouge versus Indianapolis. Oh man, my arms, they were just hanging down, and all of a sudden, I'm very loose now, and now they're 33 inches, which is the acceptable number minimum in the NFL. So now he's going to be a top 5 pick. You think I'm crazy, but that's how people look at it. It's bananas. Oh, and then I wanted to mention this before we can get into some more stuff. So I saw this morning. I apologize. And it's Matt Miller, and he does the mock draft. He does all 257 picks. I know Brock was 262, but he does all 257 picks. It depends on all the, compensation picks and everything. So 257 this year. And I wanted to go through all of his picks for the 49ers, but I didn't have time this morning. So tomorrow's show, Saturdays, we do Saturdays if you're new around here. Saturday at 10 a.m., I will delve into this thing, and I'll have this thing, and we'll do this as part of tomorrow's show. But I haven't looked at it. And then Insider, it drives you bananas because it's one of those websites, and the Athletic's the same way. The Athletic, if you use the app, it doesn't make you sign in every time. But at least for me, if I go to the athletic.com or whatever, every time it makes me sign in. It's like I've signed in 1,000 times. I shouldn't have to sign in again. Same thing with ESPN Plus, ESPN Insider. I've signed into ESPN Plus a gazillion times, like double gazillion. And every time it makes me sign in. So one of the reasons I wasn't able to look at it real quick was like maybe 10 minutes before I had to go take the kids to school, which is why I was late at 9 o'clock. It wasn't because of a hangover. And so I didn't have time to properly evaluate. And so tomorrow, Saturday's show, we'll look at what Matt Miller did, because I can't pass up a good mock draft. I didn't put this on the chalkboard, but you know what? I don't know what you think about Trey Lance, and maybe we just bring him up and it's over and who cares? A Canadian Football League reporter, he has interest in the ex-49ers, blah, 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 blah. He's not getting an offer in free agency because I think he would have already gotten, and I think teams are set in their QB room, especially given that while it's not a great quarterback draft, you're going to have Ward go in the first round, first pick probably. You're going to have Shadur Sanders probably go in the first at least 3 picks. Jackson Dart's name is coming up. He'll probably go in the first round at some point. And then you got a bunch of guys, Kyle McCord and Will Howard and all these different type of guys, like right in the middle, a bunch of guys who are going to get picked in the mid-rounds. So I don't think Trey Lance is going to get another opportunity. I hope he goes up to Canada. I hope he absolutely crushes it, and I hope he comes back down because he just has to play. And I don't know that he's ever going to be any good. I'm not saying that, but I'm just simply saying that I just would like to know, if the guy had a perfect situation, could he actually play or not? I mean, they err so badly in that pick that the guy just can't play. Now, it's getting to the point where it's psychological for him. It's not getting to the point. It is at that point where I don't know that he believes he can really play. And when he first got drafted, he's like, I don't know, but who knows? But I'm not. My mental side isn't ruined right now. I think his mental side is ruined, and he doubts whether he can play quarterback at any level at this point because he just hasn't had success in a long time. And that's just how life works. Like if you hadn't had success in a long time, it's like, damn, man, am I any good at anything? So I think that's kind of where he is. I'd love to see him go up to Canada. Maybe you don't care, but I'd love to see him go up to Canada and really crush it. I really would. And then come back down and I'm not saying he's going to be Warren Moon from the Edmonton Eskimos and then go to Houston and Minnesota and Seattle and Kansas City and crush all those numbers like he did. But it's just, I'd just like to see him go up and just play where a team would just say to him, hey, dude, you're going to play. Like, let's just see. Let's just say you're going to play. Let's just see. I don't know that that's ever going to happen, but man, it's like, geez, I feel bad for the kid. Really bad. All right. Draft scenario. That's what I just did there with the Matt Miller thing. I'll do that tomorrow I'll bring that back up. Did I miss anything in terms of the stage? No. I'm going to do this for the NBA, so just bear with me on that thing. So we did Logan Webb, we did Wilmer Flores. We're good with that. Didn't have anything from a video standpoint in a football sense, but I do have a play. I don't know if you missed the end of the book. Before we go to the Warriors, I'll go out to the chat, but what we're going to do before the Warriors, did you see the end of the Lakers-Bulls game last night? It was crazy. One of the craziest ends you'll ever see. So I'll play that for you in just a second. We'll hit the chat line. And if you want to bring up more NFL, that is completely fine to me. I'm just saying there's a few things that are on my mind to start the NFL. Then we'll hit up the Warriors because the final 10, very important for the Warriors down the stretch here. People just, I don't care what I say. There's like, chug the beer. LeBron choked as usual. Stephen A is going to bust his ass. Yeah, I played that yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, but man, the whole Stephen A LeBron thing is crazy. That thing is going crazy. But yeah, LeBron. But the end of the Bulls Lakers, I got to see this. So I'm going to play that for you in just a second. Keep yelling at him to chug. Yeah, look, if I'm going to do it, I'm doing it pretty soon because I'm not going to let this thing just sit here and get warm. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not going to let this thing. Let's see. Good morning. I see you had too many big girl beers. I'm not even gonna check this beer now. I had thoughts of it, but now that you have called it a senorita beer and all those kind of things, then okay. I'll never buy those again, by the way. Oh man. Let's see. Here comes a serious. Okay, you just started it. Here comes a serious tangent. No, I'm not going to do it. Hey, John, drink it. Don't dream it. Be it. Give yourself over to absolute pleasure. Very nice. The Rocket. Yes, very nice. Very nice. I got you. Let's see. All right, good stuff. Are you really? That is awesome, man. So you're listening to the show on beer number 3, heading to Reno, riding shotgun. Very nice, man. How cool is that? Right on, bro. Very cool. Very cool. All right, we're way past judging you. You're right. I bring on way too much of my life here, and you know what I'm about. So you're like, dude, if we're gonna judge you, we would have judged you a long time ago. That's a pretty good point there. All right, thank you, Steve, for putting us back on the track here. Let's see, I just saw Steve talk about the actual Warriors. Can the Warriors beat a second-rate team tonight? We'll tell. They're taking on New Orleans. Thanks for putting us back on track. Let me play this before we get into some Warriors talk. This is an amazing ending. Bulls. Lakers.
0.8 left. Oh, who's scored? Diddy! The steal! Right for the lead! Yeah! Big time plays! Big time plays! Kobe, wait! Sub-Zero! Bang! Doncic took the final shot before that. Here's Reeves. Reeves straight to the cup! Lays it in to take the lead! Bulls are out of timeouts. 2 seconds left. Diddy for the win! Go! My God! I cannot believe this! Elizabeth! I'm coming, baby! Oh, no! Improbable! Unbelievable! Impossible! Magic Kitty! Good day, mate!
The best part of that whole thing is the Lakers fan at the end. First of all, I don't know who the Bulls commentator is. I didn't understand one word that he said, except for maybe good day, mate, because Josh Giddey hit the final shot, an Australian. Other than that, he was screaming a bunch of gibberish that would have driven me crazy. Maybe he's very popular in Chicago. I have no idea. But anyway, that's that. But you go from Kobe White hitting the 3 to Reeves going to the cup. So they get a steal. They kick it out to Kobe White, who's become an absolute great player for Chicago. He buries a 3. They're going crazy in Chicago. They call a timeout. Reeves goes down, scores a bucket, driving on the hole. Then Josh Giddey, they don't have any timeouts. He nails a half quarter. Everyone's going crazy. And then the best part was they showed that Laker fan at the end going, and the thing is, it's crazy because the thing I was thinking about is if I'm a fan in that stadium, and let's say I am a Lakers fan or whatever, I appreciate great sports. Maybe most people aren't like that, and you certainly can't do that in the moment. You're just pissed. But I mean, that's a great ending. I mean, just an incredible ending for the Bulls to get the victory over the Lakers last night. What a cool ending that was. So that was very, very cool. The second part of this whole thing is big Warriors stretch. So let me pop this up, the schedule. I'm not going to. I know what you're thinking yourself. He's going to put the bracket up. I'm not. I didn't even load the bracket up today. So just so you know. this is what we've got the rest of the way now. As Steve pointed out, you got 4 right now on the road. And then it becomes really difficult. So at New Orleans, can you win this game tonight? Now, Steph should return, but if he doesn't, San Antonio stinks. They've packed it in. Pack it up, pack it in. So they've packed it up. At Memphis, they're wanting to win because we got a tight race. Lakers, we just saw, tight race. Denver, hate the matchup. Houston now could be your first-round opponent because you're the 7 seed. As I tell you, you lose the tiebreaker to the Clippers 3-0 this year, and you play them the final game of the year, which we'll get to in a minute. Phoenix is back out of the playoffs, and Anthony Davis is back for the Mavericks. We'll get into that in just a second, but still, that doesn't make me feel all that much better. San Antonio, we just got done talking about. Portland, they're tanking it, and the Clippers, that could come down for the 6th seed to finish the season. So right now, you got 2, I'm not going to call them gimmies because the Warriors don't play gimmies. So 2 what should be gimmies but aren't. Then at Memphis, at LA is going to be very challenging. Denver, Houston is very challenging. Phoenix, they're not great, but they have Durant, and you're on the road. We just talked about San Antonio and Portland, and then for some weird reason, I think it's just going to come down to that final game against Kawhi and the Clippers. It's just weird. So they're playing playoff games right now because as we look at the standings, no, I'm not going to put up the bracket, but you can look at the standings right there. Oklahoma City's got it clinched. We talk about the bunch up now. The bunch really starts at 3, like 3 to 8. So you've got all those teams, and you don't know who's going to be 3 through 8, really, because Nuggets have a 1-game lead on the Lakers, who lost that weird game. Grizzlies, same as the Lakers. Then it starts to get interesting. Clippers, 31 losses. Warriors, 31 losses. Minnesota, 32 losses. And you're playing those teams. You play the Clippers. You play Memphis. You play the Lakers. You play the Nuggets. You play the Rockets. You play all those teams coming down the stretch. And you play the Suns, who I've got in the 11, as you see at the bottom. I don't go past that. But the Mavericks just jumped the Suns because you look at, and look, 4-6, 6-4, neither of those teams are very good. There's their last 10. But Anthony Davis is back for the Mavericks, and you got Durant and Booker, and they haven't been great, but they could, for one game, be a problem. So that's why I look at the 7, and I say, okay, we talk all great things about the Warriors, but here they're in the play-in again as we sit just because of the tiebreaker. And you do play the Clippers the last game of the year at your place, so that's big. But if you go to the play-in, somehow you lose to Minnesota at home, now you could be playing Anthony Davis and the Mavericks, who's a big pain in the ass, or Kevin Durant and Booker and the Suns, and that's a big pain. If the 10 beats the 9, you lose to the 8, then all of a sudden you're playing in the play-in game for your life after all these positive things we've said about the Warriors. So that's not great. And so this stretch all of a sudden becomes really, really important because tonight, as Steve just pointed out, it's like, come on. Hey, New Orleans stinks. And you should be able to just throw your sneakers on the court, but you're not going to be able to do that, so please don't. San Antonio's given up, but then it gets really difficult. At Memphis, at the Lakers, they're fighting for positioning. At Denver, we know that's a terrible matchup. Houston's been hot. Phoenix, we just mentioned. Then LA at the end of the season, which the tiebreaker goes to the Warriors. So if they're one back going into that one of the Clippers, they have no chance to beat them because then they tie and the Clippers win the season series 3-1, even if you win that final game. So critical games. You play most of the teams ahead of you. You throw in San Antonio twice, which should be gimmies, and Portland once, which should be a gimme. And even tonight should be, but that's not necessarily the case when you're the Warriors. So we'll see. We'll see. But there's the latest on what's going on with the Warriors. So that is big Warriors stretch at the bottom there. And then as I point out and just talked about, if there's 7, question mark. If there's 7, what happens? And I'm not being pessimistic. I'm just saying for all the positivity since Jimmy Butler's arrival, and there's been a ton of it, and we talked about, Steph Curry gets hurt all of a sudden, and now you're losing games you shouldn't lose. You lose a game in Atlanta, and they're not terrible, but come on. You lose a game in Miami in which they were more amped up than you for Jimmy's return. That's not great. So I'm just saying, not being pessimistic, I'm just being realist, is all of a sudden you've lost your last 3 in the play-in game. Might have to play Minnesota at home. If you lose that, you may have to play Phoenix at home or Dallas at home. And I just don't love those matchups. Not that those teams are good. I just don't love a Durant can end your season or Anthony Davis can end your season scenario when it's like, weren't we just the 6 and maybe the 5 and could have been the 4? And now we're playing in the play-in. For a team that's a little bit older and you got to go through an extra step, that sucks. You just don't want to see that. So that's kind of my thought on those kind of things. All right. That's all I brought to the table today. Any news breaking or anything like that? I did not look at the chalkboard today. All right, excuse me. I did not look at social media today. I did right before the show to just make sure, but I just wanted to double check that we're not missing anything today. Anything happening, anything break? Because like last night, it was like, what happens if something happens on Aiuyk, but we will break. If something happens on Aiuyk over the weekend, either, hey, we're going to keep him or not, we'll definitely go live this weekend because we'll watch, because April 1st is that big day. So that's what we're going to be looking at, kind of checking those things out. Anything else that we need to hit today that we have missed? You notice I left my door open to see if the dog would come back. He's like, not coming back. No chance. You know what? One thing I will get over the weekend, I know Diamondor and Lenore was on, I think it was Up and Adams. Was that today or yesterday or whatever? They're all running together. So we'll play some of that maybe tomorrow on the show for a Saturday. Deion Sanders got an extension. That doesn't surprise me. But for tomorrow's show, so we'll have that mock draft for Matt Miller, that 7-rounder, and we'll look at his picks for the 49ers and if we like them or not. We will talk about the Giants. They will preview, because they don't play tonight, but we'll preview Justin Verlander. I think that is absolutely huge what Justin Verlander does tomorrow against the Reds. I'm sure some things will happen. And like I said, we won't wait until Saturday morning. If something breaks on Brandon Aiuyk, which I know you don't want to talk about, but I'm not going to call it a great national nightmare, but that will be over by the 1st. Now everybody's writing more and more about Stephen A. Like that Stephen A. LeBron thing is so crazy, because that just never would have happened. It never would have happened. And I understand what Screaming A is trying to do. And we talked about this just a little bit yesterday, but just real quick, I understand what Screaming A is trying to do. He's just trying to build his brand. He's a media guy. It's like you're feeding him. You're feeding it. You're feeding the fire. You're putting gas on the fire. And Stephen A is like, bring it on, man. Bring it on. Bring it on. The more you talk about me, LeBron James, the more relevant I become. The less, then you can take it like oxygen, just putting it right on a grill. Like, I'll put the top on, the fire will go out. Like, if you just don't talk about him, they'll just go away. I mean, that's what happened with Skip Bayless. All of a sudden, he's irrelevant. Nobody talks about him. Nobody cares about him. Like, they just took all his oxygen away. He's nothing anymore. He's done. You could do the same thing for Screaming A. All you'd have to do is just don't even acknowledge it. Just don't acknowledge it, LeBron, and it's over. But by going on Pat McAfee's show, he just fanned that thing so hard, and then now he's going after it. Now everybody's writing about it again. Absolutely crazy, man. Just crazy. All right. Anything else today on a Friday edition of the show? I know we went a little bit short today. I apologize for that. Oh, by the way, I did say at the beginning of the show that I was going to go on with Damon Bruce at 11. He's got something that popped up with him, so he is not going to do his show. So I won't be on with Damon at 11 o'clock, which is 23 minutes away. I'd originally planned for that, so I'm not going to do that. Taylor Jenkins fired by Memphis. Is that true? That's crazy. Let me see this. Is that true? Right before the playoffs like this? I want Taylor Jenkins gone. Grizz management over the summer. Breaking news: the Grizzlies have parted ways. Wow. Oh, that was an hour ago. I should have known that, but I was out driving kids to school. I apologize. That's wild, man. That is wild. Right before the playoffs like that? Parting ways with head coach Taylor Jenkins after 6 seasons. Why would you do that at this point of the season? I mean, I'm not dialed into Memphis, but they're 44-29. I mean, and they've had some pretty good success on that team. I'll have to delve into that story a little bit more. Obviously, there's more to the story than that. Apparently, does John Morant not like him? Is that what the deal is here? I wouldn't have thought that would happen. I mean, what does Memphis think it should be doing? Last year, they were what? What did they win last year? 27 games or something, and now they get job back and they're really good again, and they think that they should be better than that. That's a little weird. All right, let me check my board and make sure that I have not shown you something that I meant to show you today. Giants wrap, Giants box, showed you that. Lineup, showed you that. Showed Will Campbell. Looks like he's 35. Don't want to draft that guy. And all of a sudden, he's got 33-inch arms. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Trey Lance to Canada. Showed you that. Warriors schedule, NBA standings. Got that. I think that's about it. I think that's it. I think I showed you everything. I think I emptied the barrel here on this whole thing. Yeah, I think that's it. the videos I showed you the craziness. I showed you Logan Webb, showed you the end of the Bulls, showed you Wilmer's home run. I think, all right, we are good to go. Great time had by all. All right, fine. You know what? If you want me to do this, that's fine. If you want me to do this, it's fine. Oh, let me do this before I get out of here. Let me make sure that we take care of my good friends, Dr. Riopel Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center. Please go check out the website, Riopel Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center. As I tell you, I am, and this is another great thing about the testosterone and the low T. Like, let's say I have a couple of beers, no big deal. It's not like it used to be where it's going to hang in my stomach. It's great. Your metabolism is much, much faster. You're feeling better. I'm energized. Like I said, I'm not hungover or any of those kind of things. You feel great. You go in, you take the blood test. They're like, okay, you're this amount of low. They give you that much. You feel better. You go in for one procedure, lasts you for months. You're not going every single week. If people have told you that, that's not Dr. Riopel. You go in there, you do the one quick procedure real fast. You're out of there for months, and you feel great. It is awesome. It is for low T, testosterone. So if you're getting a little bit older, you're feeling sluggish, you're feeling tired, you're not exactly yourself. Maybe you're irritable, you can't lose weight, whatever the case may be. That spare tire is rocking, and you're like, what in the what? Dr. Riopel can help you out. That's what I do. I have done it for years, and he's the best. He is absolutely the best. Click on that QR code right there, and you can go straight to the website, make yourself an appointment with Dr. Riopel, and get that done. And as I said, and let me show you something real quick. Because you probably think I'm lying when I talk about my wife and she does the stem cell treatments. You see all these things? This is what I had in my cooler because she doesn't need these anymore. I got a ton more in this cooler, and they were ice cold and frozen. And so what I did was I took them out of my freezer and I put them in my cooler because a bunch of ice was going to melt in there, and I had it in my studio. And so, you know what? I took a bunch of those frozen things, had them as beers when we did the show yesterday watching the Giants, and I put those in there because my wife doesn't even need them anymore because she did stem cell with Dr. Riopel. So she had her elbow done. She had her shoulder done. That's been over a month. She told me 2 days ago, I told you this, her shoulder feels like it's a 9 out of 10 in terms of how much better it is. She said her elbow's about a 6 or a 7, but getting much, much better. And she had her foot done. Now it's been about 10 days. And she told me yesterday, and she's had some problems with it just recently, the heel. And she said he did the work on it, and she feels amazing, like 100% better with the foot. So Dr. Riopel is the leader when it comes to stem cell with those kind of injuries. So if you've got any kind of pain, and I've told you the story about Bartolo Colon, he was one of the first to do it in the entire state of California. So that would probably interest you if you're thinking about stem cell and feeling better. Just get some information on it. So check it out right there. Click on the QR code, and Dr. Riopel, one of the best when it comes to California with stem cell. So you got some injuries, you're feeling those kind of things, shoulder, elbow, feet, whatever it is, get an appointment and just talk to Dr. Riopel about it. And like, he's not a guy who's like, if he doesn't think he can help you, he's not going to tell you he can. He's going to tell you exactly what he should do. But again, fine sponsor of the program, Riopel Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center. Make sure that you check them out. I'm doing the testosterone. She is doing the stem cell, which is great. It's kind of like a PRP, and then they put the stem cell in there and they inject it, and you're going to be feeling better. At least my wife has. I can't tell you what you're going to feel because everybody's different, but she is absolutely feeling great. And I told you, she uses there's more of that stuff in there because it kept my beers nice and cold yesterday, but she doesn't need it. She doesn't need it nearly as much as she used to. So that's what we do. We use it for ice for beer coolers now, which is nice. Drink the beer. Every time I come back here, it's drink the beer, do it next. PMP at high noon. Very nice. Paulie Mac, Creative Tony. They're going to be at noon. So if you're watching on John Lund Unleashed, that is outstanding. Make sure that you are subscribing. Make sure you're following. Make sure you're telling your friends. Give us the thumbs up, please. But then get over to Bay Area Sports Collective because Paulie is going to be talking about opening day and all those things. High noon at Bay Area Sports Collective on YouTube. Fine. All right. I'll do that to finish the week because you asked nicely, and I could talk about a million different things. And then everybody's like, I don't care. Just chug the beer. All right, fine. Did you hear that opening? By the way, this thing is money. I've had this thing forever. I got it as a present. I think my mom might have got it for me. Best present I ever got. It's heavy though. You can't take that through a metal detector. I can tell you that. All right. I don't know that I can do this because I had way too many of these. Plus, I told you it's a little citrusy. So I didn't chug it. I didn't chug one of these yesterday. I chugged the hazy IPA yesterday. It was really good. Larry was buzzed on Niners Nightly. Did he? I didn't know that he was doing Niners Nightly last night. Was he? Did he really? He did Niners Nightly last night after all the beers we had. And I don't know that Larry's not a big drinker. Larry's not a big drinker. I don't drink as much as maybe I say, but Larry's not a big drinker. So I don't know. I couldn't tell if Larry was. I couldn't tell if Larry was buzzed last night after the game. I was a little bit, but like I said, these were so easy to drink last night or yesterday during the game. I was having so much fun. I'm eating peanuts. Maybe it's something in peanuts. I mean, the salt, obviously, but and I was eating pretzels and stuff, and I'm just like, just put it down, man. It was a good time. All right, fine. What time do we got? I don't feel so bad. And it's almost 11 o'clock. I mean, I know it's 10:45 in the morning, but it is a Friday. And let's just, what? Here's another thing that we need to, I think, establish on the show is that let's just make it airport rules in here 24/7, 365. I mean, let's just do that. Let's just do airport rules 24/7, 365 in the show. So if you're going to have a beer, like, no, it's not tacky. Who's driving a Reno right now? Somebody's driving a Reno right now. So somebody's driving a Reno and said there were 3 beers in, and they're like, that's cool, man. I have no issue with that. Like, if you're drinking right now, I have no problem. You see, this is it's so funny that East Coast that you would say this. My dad said this all the time. Where is it? Where are you? Sorry, the thing's moving really fast. And so when I click on it, there you go. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Absolutely. Make sure you like and subscribe right there. East Coast Red and Gold podcast. Great people. Yeah, my dad used to say that all the time. It's 1:45 somewhere too. That's a great one too. That's an absolute great one. I should say that, we are. In fact, East Coast is here on the East Coast right now, right? It's 1:45. So it's 1:45. Tom Tolbert likes beers. Yeah, that's a good point. And it's Friday. Like, if this was Monday, you could judge me a little bit more. But like I said, we're going to make sure that it's airport rules 24/7, 365 on this show. No, if you're doing something, Larry and Dieter last night, it was heated. Tell me more, John Joseph. Tell me more. I didn't know that. I didn't tune in. I was sorry. After we went off the show, because I did the morning show yesterday, and then we did, the show which was like 3 hours. And so by the end of that thing, I was just like, the last thing I'm going to do is do more sports. Like, usually I do a lot of post-production stuff, and I was just like, I'm done. Need a break. And then I had, my wife's out of town and she's calling me, make sure you make him a healthy dinner. I was like, yeah. That's what I'm going to do right now. All right. Bottoms up. Everybody have a great Friday. We'll take this thing down. It's medium cold right now. I should have drank it when it was really cold. It's not easy drinking out of the bottle. I'd love to have like a pint glass like I had yesterday, because I can just take that thing down. But there you go. She's done. She's gone. That was actually, that was a lot easier than I thought, because it's got that citrusy taste to it. It was almost like drinking, almost like an orange juice kind of a flavor to it, like a beer-ish orange juice. Whereas like a lot of people like a bloody beer or something like that, and then in the morning, and so they'll do the Bloody Mary mix in it. That was kind of almost had like an orange juice flavor to it, So that wasn't really that bad, to be completely honest with you. It was like I said, the Corona Sunbrew Citrus Cerveza. So that was like, that's not bad. It actually had like almost a orange juice hue to it, if I can. So there you go. No, see, now I knew this was going to start something. This has to be a Friday thing. This has to be an every Friday thing. Yeah, maybe. And maybe what I'll do with something like that is I will get some different ones. But I got to say that as much fun as I got made fun of, for as much as I got made fun of for my Sunbrew, my Corona Sunbrew Cerveza, Citrus Cerveza, and calling it somebody called it a lady beer. Somebody called it a, what did they call it? A senorita beer or something like that. For a morning beer, that's actually pretty good for a morning beer. I might buy some more of that, as much as you may make fun of me for it, and put it in there for morning beers. Not that I drink a lot of morning beers, but let's say it's a Saturday or a Sunday and I'm going to go to a Giants game and I wanted to start with something. That's not like that's Bloody Mary-ish. And I only mean that in a way of like how you're going to start your day, right? My wife loves mimosas. Excuse me. She likes it, but she likes just a splash of orange juice in it. So she's a mimosa person first thing of the day. You might be a Bloody Mary person. You might be a screwdriver person. That almost had like an orange type of a taste to it. So it was like a beer, but just had like that had some orange juice in it. As weird as that sounds, not that bad, actually. Not that bad. Coffee and Kahlua, that's not a bad one. Bailey's and coffee, that's not a bad one. Irish coffee, that's not a bad one. Love this. Hey, John, make sure the kids get a healthy dinner, okay? Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Tonight, it's going to be the same thing. Like, on a Friday, that's the other thing, too. I don't want to cook. I don't want to, I could barbecue tonight if they wanted to barbecue. This week, I've barbecued them steaks and excellent burgers that I got at a local place. So I've taken care of them, even when she was in town. I'll do something, but like last night, there was no way. After having that show that we had yesterday, there was no way. And then tonight, it's a Friday. Like, I don't want to cook on a Friday. Like, no way. So I'm going to do it again. At least the thing is, she's going to make fun of me. She does a lot of DoorDash. She does a lot of all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to DoorDash it. I'll go get it at the very least. I don't know if that's any good, but yeah, mimosas are great. It's just my wife is huge mimosa person. And if you put too much, if the mimosa is too orange, she gets upset. Like she wants it to be still see-through a little bit, but just a touch of orange juice. I don't know why, but she's just like, just a little bit orange. And if it comes and it's too much, she's like, bring it back. Bring it back. Too much orange juice. All right. That'll do it for me today. Very nice. A lot of fun on a Friday. You made it a lot of fun. We had obviously a little bit of a late start at 9:00 because we had to take the kids. 9:00 Pacific because we had to take the kids. Still debating what. See, now it's like another. I'm not going to do another. Although honestly, that was not bad. That was not bad. And if I did do another one, what I would do is I would put it in a pint glass because the pint glass is like a second beer. What is with you? What? Everyone's like, chug the beer. And then I do one. I feel like a monkey right now. I do one and then you're like, do another one. I'm like, what? And if I did do another one, not that I'm going to do another one, but if I was going to do another one, I just put in a pint glass because then it's like, you can slam a pint glass. Did everybody have this in, man, I'm going way too long today. Did everybody have this in college where, because we did a thing in the fraternities and it was called the boat races. And what we would do is you probably had something like this at your college. Maybe it was a little different, but we had a giant room for parties and we would bring in once a year in the spring because everyone was excited about spring and the weather being nice. We would bring in these canoes, these old canoes, and they were long, like a rowing team canoe. And you'd have one on each side. So you had two in this big giant room and we would invite all the other fraternities over. And of course, the sorority girls would come and watch because we were so manly. And you had what's called boat races. So you would take, obviously, the solo cups, the red solo cups, and you'd have a bunch of kegs there. And you had judges, and you would chug beers. And you'd have like, I can't remember if it was 8 or 10 guys. I think it was like 10 guys in a row. And you would stand 1 foot in the boat and 1 foot out of the boat. So you're standing up and, blow the whistle and go. And you would chug a beer and put it on top of your head. Now, if the beer ran too much, you had to wear this certain hat. Everyone wore a hat. And so you could tell if the beer was going down the hat, then you got a penalty. But you chugged the beer, put it on your head, and then the next guy could go. And we called it the boat races. And each fraternity every single year who would win. And we won. When I was there 4 years, even though people think I was there 6, I was there 4. And we won the boat races like 3 of the 4 years I was there, but it wasn't because of me. I was a leadoff guy. Like you wanted your leadoff guy to be good, just not put you in a penalty. But we had hammer guys at the end. They were just like, choo-choo, choo-choo. We had this guy, his name was Bryce, and he was the hammer. He could chug a beer faster than anybody you've ever seen in your life. And he was our anchor guy. And it was just like, boom, boom. Like if we were close, he would just bring it home. We had 2 guys like that at the end. And as long as I didn't screw it up as like the leadoff hitter, and that's what I was always the first guy. And I could do it pretty quick. But as long as I didn't screw it up as the leadoff hitter, we were in good shape. But it's not easy because what starts to happen, especially if you have a solo cup and you're trying to go so fast that it starts spilling on spilling on the front. And if you're spilling on your front, then they penalize you that like a second or something like that, or whatever it was, half a second. And then if too much was on your hat, then you got penalized as well. But we were pretty good at it. but it's not easy. Like a small neck like that, the small neck bottle, that thing's not, it's not conducive to like pounding a beer. You got to have like, that's why when you see like, George Kittle, for example, who was at the Nashville Predators game, we played one of those earlier. Like you got one of those, wide mouth plastic cups. You can just go take that thing down. These little neck things like that. It's not nearly as easy. Larry would do it. No, he would not. Larry would not. For Unleashed, your drunk ass leader. Yeah, right. I'm gonna be drunk. I'm not gonna be a drunk person today. I have responsibilities, all that kind of stuff. This is the ultimate. If you don't chug another one, you don't care about your fans. Oh man, look at everybody. Yeah, okay. Everyone throws in a buck. I'll do it. Barbecue coffee. Yeah, hit me a super and then I'll do it. I'll go get another one, but I gotta go. And this is it. Don't tell. We have a rule here. We're gonna make a rule here. All right. I'll go get a pint glass. I'll go do one more. But the thing is, that's it. Like you're not getting me into another one and another one and another one and another and another. No, we're not doing that. So okay. I will cave to peer pressure only because you said if you don't care about it, if you don't do one, you don't care about your fans. That one hurt deep. That one hit and that one hurt. There's no doubt. So I'll do it. But the deal is you chuck in a buck, you chuck in a super. I'll go get a cup or a good glass so you can see it. A cup's no good because you can't see it. But I'll go get a glass and we'll do it. But then we're done. See, and this is what really gets me too, because Mary's like, yeah, do it. It's Friday. You can do it. Where is it? Because you're moving fast today. Okay. I know 4 hours later, I'm going to be sitting here doing more and more and more. But because what you're thinking is, well, geez, Paulie and Tony on here for an hour. So what am I going to do? And I was going to be on with Damon at 11 o'clock, like I told you, but he had some things going on. So no worries. So I don't have anywhere to go. But I did, I have stuff to do. I'm a working person after all. After I get off the show, as crazy as this sounds, and then I turn into sales guy. I got post-production stuff to work. And again, not that you care, and not even that it's that big of a deal. I know this is maybe I won't do it because now it's bad influence, and now you guys know that you can basically coerce me into anything. That's pretty much what it is. You don't have to get rid of the lady beer. Don't stop chugging until they're all gone. They're good beer. Like they're good morning beers. I got to say that if this was like a really some sort of IPA or something, it probably wouldn't be nearly as good. This is a good morning beer. I don't care what you say now. Sun Brew, good morning beer. It's citrusy, good morning beer. All right, I'll go get a glass because I'm not going to do this one again. I don't like this the narrow neck because that's not as good to chug. All right. You throw me up a super, I'll go get a cup. But this is it. Oh, man. Oh. Yeah, we're not doing this again. You know what? I just saw this. I just thought of this when I walked inside because I went to get a pint glass out of my house. That I have this Niners cup that I was gonna chug out of, but this thing is disgusting. I don't know if you can see that, but it is dirty. Because I thought to myself, I'll just chug out of the Niners cup. Because I actually got this at a Niners game. But this thing needs a wash. So we're not drinking out of that. Go put that thing in the dishwasher. Fine. I'm not doing this. This is not going to be a regular thing. And now you guys know you can manipulate me quite easily. I'm not gonna allow you to do that anymore. I'm gonna take back control of this show. I don't care if you call this a Senorita beer. It's very fragrant. Very fragrant. I'm gonna let that thing settle for a minute. Second. And then this will finish the show today. No, I haven't even done the second beer. I knew this was going to happen. I haven't even done the second one. And Tacky's like, chug a third. I haven't even done a second one. This is it, though. I promise you. I got stuff to do today. I have things to do around the house. I got a honeydew list. I got to mow the lawn. I got to do post-production stuff. I got to be productive. I got a couple of sales calls today. Got to put a couple of things together. I got a long day ahead of me. I don't just like get the show done and go take a nap. I promise you I don't do that. I go work. I got to work. I got stuff to do. But the fact that you're making me do this, having me do this, well, these things are ice cold. I let that one kind of warm up a little bit, which is easier to chug than these ice cold ones. I know the wife leaves. See, here's the thing. If she was around, she would be watching. And she's like, what are you doing? Drinking beers at 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. Like, she would be the conscience of the show. She'd be the conscience of the show. And so she wouldn't allow me to do this. And she would pop in here and go, what's wrong with you people? Why are you making him do this? But, we started this yesterday. It's all because of the bottom of the pint show. Everyone's like, well, they were just sucking down beers the whole time. And this is great. But this is it. This is it. We're not doing a third. We're not, because I got work to do after this. Look at Caesar's the only one to come through. Caesar's my friend. Come on now. You're manipulating me. And you're not paying me for my work here. All right. Let's see. I'm going to chug one. Okay. So if you do, if you can do it, and I'm not saying, maybe you're in a cubicle, maybe you're working. Like I said, I got tons of stuff to do, but you have manipulated me into a second. There will not be a third today. Not that I couldn't. It's just, I do have work to do. I promise you I do. I have work to do. And I'm going to be honest, I wasn't feeling great this morning. It was like when I said the only reason I brought that thing out was because people were giving me grief about it. And for people who didn't tune into in the show yesterday, I just wanted to show people the beers that we were drinking, the bottom of the pint show. So, and remember, tune into Polly. By the way, if you're new, you're like, what is going on in this room? So it's John Lund Unleashed. Thanks for joining us. Please make sure that you're subscribed on YouTube, that you're watching maybe right now on X going, this is a silly show, at John Lund Radio. You're watching on Instagram going, this guy's not a professional, on Instagram. You're watching on LinkedIn. I should probably shut the LinkedIn one down because it's all a bunch of professionals going, yeah, maybe, I like this show. Maybe, oh my God, is this guy drunk or what? So yeah, probably should have shut the LinkedIn one a long time ago. I thought it was just us hanging out in the YouTube room, but now it's not. It's all these other people I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting people. Yeah, they're on LinkedIn going, oh, this guy's a professional. We were thinking about hiring him. We're not going to hire this guy. Look at him. He's drinking at 10:30 in the morning. I forgot about that. I got to take the LinkedIn thing off of this thing. I haven't even done the second one. And Tacky's asking me to do a third one. Love of God. That's my own fault. I've created this monster. It's me. It's on me. We just warm this up really quickly. All right. Have a good weekend. I'm out. That according to Mr. Light the Beam. All right, this is it. Let me just, I'm going to sip this real quick, just how cold it is. It's not that bad. I can take it down. I mean, it's a little cold. I would like it to be a little bit warmer, but it is. Is Tacky on his sixth one at like 10:45? No, I do. He keeps bringing up that he has work to do. I have work to do. I'm not going to just drink this last beer and then shut it down. I do have a couch right here. I can take a nap, but I got a million things to do. I got people to see, places to go, and I got to get the podcast up. I got to do a couple of shorts here. I got to write a story today. So yeah, I got a lot of things to do. We'll probably hit up some Giant stuff after that first. So I got to get something up at johnlundunleashed.com. So all that kind of stuff. You're the man. Look at 49ers faithful coming through. You are the man. Boy, I will say this. Everybody is really good at manipulating the host. Everybody is really good at manipulating the host, from making fun of me to, making fun of the beer I'm drinking, making fun of you're going to go out and buy these. Corona should really give me give me a couple of bucks here for doing this. Thanks to Caesar. Thanks to Tacky. Even though I'm on my second, he's saying chug a fourth. And thanks to my good friend, 49ers Faithful. I appreciate you guys backing me so that at least we can have a financial element to me chugging beers and then having to sober up until I do tons of work. And I do know this because I called my wife before the show. She is in Palm Springs. They're doing like a spa day today. So the last thing she's going to do, like, oh, I want to relax. She's not tuning into this stuff. There's no doubt. There's no chance. No chance that she's doing that. No, I did not have Zima yesterday. By the way, the fact that we're going with a Zima, and I know you were there, Anthony, yesterday. You were in the room for Bottom of the Pint yesterday. No, okay, all right, fine. No, I was just kind of, what I was doing was buying myself some time because this beer it's freezing cold. Like right now I'm holding, it's freezing cold. I was hoping it might get to a little room temperature a little bit more just to be easier to chug. But what the hell, man. All right, here's to you. Here's Happy Friday. Oops, wait a minute. I'm not even on the board here. Hello. You're like, could we see it? There we go. Here's to you. By the way, here's to 100 episodes. Let's do that. Here's to 100 episodes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for making this a great community. Thanks for growing the show. We're over 5,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. We're only a few months into this thing, and we're having a great time with it. So make sure you're subscribed. John Lund Unleashed. Tell all your friends. Give us that thumbs up, please. It's really important for the algorithm. Please hit that up. Keep those alerts on. If there's any kind of trade or breaking news over the weekend, we will make sure we are back. We will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time as well. Bay Area Sports Collective, Paulie Mac, and Creative Tony at noon today. Tell them to chug some beers. Tell them what I did. And it'll be noon for them, so they got to chug some beers. Bay Area Sports Collective, thanks for watching on Twitch. Thanks for watching on X at John Lund Radio, Instagram at John Lund Radio, Facebook, if you hit me up there, John Lund Unleashed, LinkedIn. I'm sorry. I know you people are professional and you're actually wearing suits and you're sitting at work and you're actually grinding and you're going, why is this guy drinking beer all day? Sorry for that. Please don't judge me. Have a great day. Cheers. Salute to over 5,000 subscribers and 100 episodes. And I couldn't have done it without you. And we're just getting started. Thank you so much. That would have qualified. If we were doing, if you're doing boat races, a little bit came out, not much. I mean, I can't even, that would have qualified for a drink. Should have been faster, but see how much better that is. The bottleneck is just like, can't do it. So anyway, there you go. A little bit, that wouldn't have been too much. I would not have gotten penalized on that drink. All right, everybody have a great day. Oh, look who's decided to come at the end of the show, the dog. The dog's back like, yeah, I'm kind of bored. I got nothing to do. Hey, come here. Like, because I left the door open. He's like, I come back in. There's nobody else in the house. So there you go. All right. He's here for the chug. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for manipulating me. Thank you for the supers at the end. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. And I really mean this. Thank you for 100 episodes. We've had a really great time with everything and we'll keep it going. Thanks to you. We really appreciate it. Thanks for watching John Lund Unleashed. Everybody have a great weekend. Do remember that Paulie Mac and Creative Tony on the Bay Area Sports Collective start up in about 53 minutes. So take a quick break. Do what you got to do. You could have a beer. You could have a bloody. You could have a Bailey's coffee. Or you could be a professional and you could just have a little breakfast, some coffee, whatever you want to do. Or maybe it's noontime if you're on the East Coast and almost, I guess, about 2 o'clock. So you can just give yourself a little bit of time and then check out Creative Tony and Paulie Mac for the Bay Area Sports Collective. Everybody have a great weekend. We will see you tomorrow, unless news breaks. We will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific on John Lund Unleashed. And again, thank you for 100 episodes. We're just getting started. Have a great rest of your Friday.
Thanks for hanging out with John Lund Unleashed. We'll try to be better next time, though I wouldn't hold my breath. Please like and subscribe on the John Lund Unleashed Pod YouTube channel. Watch live shows weekdays at 8 a.m. on YouTube, Instagram, and X. And make sure to have your alerts on for shows throughout the day or night. All things Lund can be found at johnlundunleashed.com. johnlundunleashed.com.
Goodbye!